hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion!
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
Breaking World Cup news coming in. US men's national team striker Flo Balogun's red card one-match suspension has been suspended by FIFA. The kind of
McDelivery, you in?
I'm in. Yeah, I well fancy a fillet of fish. Expand your palate.
Bring it home with McDelivery. We're not just one team. We're a team of teams. Made in the Royal Navy.
of now brings out Pandora's box, doesn't it, with what we'll see maybe in the future. What can you tell us from the rules perspective?
Yeah, and I think to you guys hit, and I'll hit on the Pandora's box, but for everyone to understand, and I want to, make sure this distinction is important, is that the referee's decision was not overruled. So all the prior analysis that you got from whether it's referee analysts, whether it's from tournament, you and FIFA officials stating that it could not be suspended, that is still true. The suspension still exists. To your point, Poppy, as you stated, Article 20 was suspending the suspension, and it's not exactly the same as, Ronaldo's suspension that everyone's talking about, because that was due to violent conduct leading into the World Cup. This was a suspension or the red card that was given during the tournament, which comes with an automatic suspension according to the rules. And why that's important, because this is a case of first impression. This isn't the first time we've seen it. And the argument isn't whether or not the FIFA Disciplinary Committee has the ability or the discretionary opportunity to do this. They do have the power and the authority to do this. The question comes back to, and Mike, I think you alluded to it, why did they do this? What is the transparency to it? What is the process to it? What's the explanation? What are the circumstances? Who can do this? When can you apply to do this? So now you're refereeing the game, and now re-refereeing the VAR decision, and now you're re-refereeing the sanctioning decision. Like, at what time do we stop the re-refereeing of everything? And that's really where the question and the communication comes from. And when there's no explanation from FIFA's disciplinary committee, merely just the ruling, it creates a vacuum. And that's when you start to get speculation and then the breakdown of the foundation and the trust in the organization of FIFA.
I think I'm more confused than when the ruling was actually made, Pop, because what you're saying makes my head spin. So can you take us back through Article 27, because that seems to be what's in question, and that seems to be the ruling that FIFA has said, hey, this is what we're going to use as kind of the nuts and bolts of why we made this decision.
Yeah, no, so Article 27, as you see it right there, is a very, very, just to simplify it, very broad discretionary power and authority in this committee to be able to make decisions, right? We've seen it already in this tournament in the Canada-Qatar game when they upgraded the suspension for that player to 5 games, right? And then there's an appeal process for that. So we've seen them already interacted and already instating this. So this disciplinary committee, for lack of a better term, pretty much has a unilateral authoritarian ability to make a decision, but they are not required to explain their decisions. And that is really where the crux of the matter comes to, of what are we talking about and how can that be used? So their broad discretion allows them to be able to impact this. They're allowed to make decisions that one would, you would consider, and you can kind of speculate, okay, so in this situation, and once again, I hate to use the word speculate because we're doing journalism, but at the end of the day, what can they be using this for? They're going to say, is it something that's very, very unfair, in the respect that if the entire world has determined, and we all agree that this should not be a red card. I mean, there's still some people who don't think so, but we lean to the side that that should have been yellow card. Then the question is the injustice so unfair that the discretionary disciplinary committee determined they can use their, incredible powers to do so, but then at what point and who gets to determine when that uses? And that's why I continue to emphasize the importance is the transparency and the explanation, which will not be coming.
Which is interesting, isn't it? Because I think from the outside looking in, Christina, you just accept that in World Cup competition, you can't rescind red cards.
Centre-backs, we are underway. Norway playing from right to left in the first half. Long ball downfield from the goalkeeper, Neelan. Haaland will chase, and Douglas Santos can just watch it bounce harmlessly away and go behind for the goal kick. Ødegaard, Sander Berge, Patrick Berg of Bodo Glimt, Alexander Sorloth, another one of the giants, 6'5" tall. You'd think of him as a centre forward, but he's on the right of the attacking trident. Erling Haaland through the middle has scored 25 goals in his last 13 internationals, and he's a little bit hasty there. Brazil taking the goal kick. Haaland went early, burst into the penalty area. Brazil get to go again. Antonio Nusa scored a wonder goal against the Ivory Coast. He starts on the left.
What an unusual lineup from Brazil. It's not at all I expected them to do. They've started with the two wide players really high up the pitch, and behind them almost two false nines. Martinelli and Cunha not playing up against the centre-backs, well, to start with anyway, but you've got Ryan, who's going to play right wing, right up the park, and of course Vinicius Junior left, really far up the park on the left-hand side as well. We shall see how long that lasts, but an interesting and unusual way to start.
Might have something to do with the wily old Italian fox sitting in the dugout, smart as ever. Not quite as warm today. It was over 100 degrees Fahrenheit in Philadelphia yesterday. A little bit cooler today, but whatever the weather, Carlo Ancelotti in the dark blazer, what looks like a sort of woolen waistcoat underneath it as well. Impeccably smart as ever. Tackle is won here at right back by Danilo, and Norway have a throw midway inside the Brazil half on the left, and it is slung back low and skiddy towards Torbjorn Hegem. So it's Ayer and Hegem, the two centre-backs for Norway. Formed a regular partnership in qualifying. Two excellent wins against Italy, saw them finish top of the group. There's Riasson, first touch of the game, passes it down the right, up to the halfway line to Sorloth. Riasson receives it again. Ødegaard's first touch gave Cunha a sniff. He comes racing in, makes a couple of tackles, and the ball goes out for a Norway throw, and immediately Cunha getting involved with the Brazilian fans, trying to get them up and involved and noisy all around this giant stadium. This the last game in the New York, New Jersey stadium before the final, which is 2 weeks today, and the winners of this one, as we said, will meet the winners of Mexico-England. Full commentary 1 o'clock on 5 Live from the Azteca. Attacking chance for Norway. Ødegaard trying to slide Sorloth in on the right-hand side. Sorloth cuts it back into the penalty area. Great chance for Berg! Side foots the ball home, but the flag is up. We knew it was coming. The Norwegian fans away to our right haven't seen it just yet, but the celebrations are short-lived, and Pat Nevin spotted it straight away. Great finish, though, Pat.
Well, great finish, good play in the build-up to it. Sorloth went far too early. It's not even close. Well, I say that, you always have to double-check. We see a second time, well, so a little bit closer than I thought, but it's definitely offside. So, I mean, well done your commentary, keeping it exciting there. But to be fair, yeah. I thought it was way offside, and the Brazilians did it well. And to be honest, it's a disappointment for the Norwegians, because if you're the wide player, you shouldn't be offside there. You can see all the way along the line. There was no need for him to go that early.
I think the really interesting thing as well, from the cutback, there were 3 red shirts pouring forward into the penalty area. It fell perfectly for Berg, but attacking intent from the Norwegians.
Yeah, it's interesting. They don't want to play up against the centre backs of Norway, and they're trying all sorts of strange things up front, Brazil just now, but it makes no difference because they're under pressure. They're not getting the ball up there.
4 minutes in, Pat Nevin alongside me inside the New York, New Jersey stadium, normally known as the MetLife, home to the NFL teams, the New York Giants and the New York Jets. Not everyone in New York loves this stadium, but it's certainly created an atmosphere in here. Ødegaard's diagonal ball out to the right finds Sorloth again. Couple of touches, it comes back to Riasson. Ødegaard asks for it at walking pace. Norway inside their own half have made a really assured start to this game. I think they are going to fancy their chances, and I think any team in this quarter of the draw, Norway, Brazil, Mexico, England, will fancy their chances in these games today and the next one to come, the quarterfinal in Miami on Friday.
Yeah, I could spend a lot of time talking about what the Brazilians are doing up front just now, because they change it all the time. Vinny Junior's almost playing centre forward now, but they're not getting enough ball up there at the moment, so it's neither here nor there.
Giant figure of Sorloth involved early on, controlled that ball. It's come back to Ødegaard. Ødegaard shifts it to his left foot, glides away from Vinicius Junior. Didn't really make an attempt at chasing it. Comes out to the left-hand side. First chance for Antonio Nusa to have a dribble. Fires a low pass into Ødegaard. Across it comes to another giant in the Norwegian team, Sander Berge. Riasson quickly onto Sorloth on the right-hand side. The Brazilian fans booing this concerted possession from Norway, who won a corner. Sorloth's cross is blocked, and it goes behind early attacking set piece for Norway.
When Chappers was chanting the build-up to it, I think the subtle suggestion, he was trying to find out, is there any sort of feeling within the Norwegians that they've got an inferiority complex, right? Just to find out if it was the case. No.
No.
Absolutely not, from what we've seen at the start of this game.
Yeah, really impressive start from Norway. We saw Brazil make a very slow start in this stadium, in fact, right at the start of the tournament against Morocco. Vinicius Junior saved them there in the 1-1 draw. Ødegaard's corner in from the right, spin and curl on that. The whistle's blown, though, because Alisson very casually made an attempt to catch it. Now, referee, who is an American, Ismail Elfath, wasn't happy with something there, gathers some of the players around him, and so that it's going to be retaken.
I wonder if it was that, or maybe there's a ball outside the quadrant. Anyway, no one went for it. I'm sure they'll go for this one.
Who's marking Haaland at the far post? That is not Gabriel. Haaland's gone trotting back towards the penalty spot. Ødegaard waits to deliver again. Couple of short steps to the ball. In it comes in swinger. A load of bodies clustered around the edge of the 6-yard box. Thumped away. High in the sky, dropping down midway inside the Brazil half. Now might break for Martinelli. Martinelli's got speed, we know that. Goes past Berg. Feeds Vinicius. Vinicius stabs it infield, tries to collect the ball the other side. Sander Berge read the danger, and Norway again, lots of red shirts forward here. Ødegaard's on the ball, pulling the strings and looking for movement ahead of him. The industrious Patrick Berg of Bodo Glimt in the number 6 shirt, always running, always moving. Back it comes to Ødegaard in the inside right channel. 1-2 with Berge. Into the centre circle, and Torbjorn Heggem. Socks rolled down, dark blue socks, white shorts, bright red shirts for Norway. Nusa pokes it in field. Berge stretches a couple of times. The ball goes spinning in the air from the tackle, headed forward by Ryan. Heggem should have this covered, and he comes back to his goalkeeper Orjan Nilan. Next break in play will take you to Wimbledon. The championships continue, so we'll give you our latest from there. But Ryerson can't control that pass, and Brazil are going to take a quick throw in an attacking position, so we won't take it to SW19 just yet. Here's Cunha. More thoughts from Pat Nevin on the Brazil forward line in a second, because it's the first time we've really seen them in possession of the football in the first period of this game. Almost 8 minutes played. Comes back to the right back, Danilo. 75th Brazil cap for him today. Martinelli in the number 10 role, lays it off to Casemiro, comes creeping forward, middle of the Norway half, encouraged to bring it forward. First time ball out to the right-hand side to Ryan. Ryan to Guimarães. Nice control from Guimarães to Martinelli. Quick feet from him, looking for the chipped cross. Hits Heggem. Brazil managed to regather the ball. Guimarães has it on the corner of the Norway penalty area. Brazil attacking down the right-hand side. Left-footed pass, sprays it out towards Vinicius. Ryerson closes the space down quickly, gets a foot on the ball, loses it. Vinicius Junior, quick as a flash, beats his man. That's Iron, he's taken it over the dead ball line. That is going to be a goal kick for Norway. So let's head to Wimbledon and find out the latest from our tennis correspondent, Russell Fuller.
Where, Ali, one Japanese player has already beaten the world number 1, Naomi Osaka, knocking out Arina Sabalenka. But despite his efforts in this second set, it looks as if the qualifier Shintaro Mochizuki is about to go 2-0 down to Yannick Sinner. Sinner leads the second set tiebreak 5-0.
Thank you, Russell. It reminds me to give the Wimbledon Daily podcast a plug, available on the BBC Sounds app, as is the Football Daily. 0-0 between Brazil and Norway. Guimarães' ball looking for Vinicius Junior, nodded down by Ayer, collected by Ryerson, and into the Norwegian midfield. Pat Nevin.
There's a lot of space in the midfield now, because the game has lengthened quite a bit. And I think that will suit the Brazilians a little bit, because when they get the ball with space, every one of their players can do something special with it. But there was a delicious moment just a few moments ago on the left-hand side. Vinny Junior got the ball, and he did the most incredibly beautiful, speedy dummy. It left Ryerson absolutely swiping it thin air. A beautiful piece of play.
4 goals for Vinicius Junior at the World Cup so far, all in the group stages. Didn't score against Japan. We've got Messi and Mbappe on 7. Haaland out here on 5. Harry Kane on 5, playing later against Mexico. Great ball from Guimarães into Martinelli. Martinelli's cut back into the penalty area. Cunha stretches, sliding challenge from Ayer, and the referee's got a decision to make. Cunha cannot believe that the referee hasn't pointed to the spot. Now, if he hasn't given a corner there, I don't quite understand that.
Well, it's weird, though, because he has pointed to a goal kick, but he'll wait, because he's not got the best angle on it. It looked to us like a penalty kick, didn't it? And we've seen it again, and that looks incredibly like a penalty kick.
Has to be a penalty.
Ayer
gets nothing of the ball, all of Mateus Cunha, and quite often you'll see the attacker, you know, with the sort of horrified reaction, I can't believe you haven't given it. But VAR will be looking. Video assistant referee is Tatiana Guzman, and there we go. It's up on the screens, Pat. It's same as the one yesterday, Desiree Doué. When we saw it on the replay, it was clear as day. This is going to be a penalty.
Yeah, I would say yesterday's was 99%. I would say this is 99.5% a penalty kick. Sometimes they come away with a weird decision and don't go and have a look at it. If a referee goes and has a look at that, that's a penalty kick. I mean, it's what you do. Remember what Harry Kane tried to do when we went through. He flicked the ball past and the tackle comes through and takes him out. This was even clearer than the Harry Kane one. I mean, actually, probably a lot clearer, because both of the feet have him. Do you know, the referee doesn't seem to want to go over.
Here he comes.
Yeah. Thankfully, at last.
Well, you can hear the reaction of the Brazilian fans. Brazilian radio to our right-hand side are going to be getting excited very soon, because the referee, Ismail Elfaf, I don't think will be long. He's come trotting towards us. He's disappeared from view. He's in between the two dugouts on the side of the pitch. One of them emblazoned with the bright green colours, yellow and blue of Brazil, the other in the red, white and blue of Norway. I think Norway know what's coming here as well. Yannick Sinner's won the second set at Wimbledon. We were just hearing from Russell Fuller there. But here comes the big call in New Jersey. Let's hear from the referee. Penalty for Brazil, no surprise there. Christopher Ayer went for the ball. It was a risky challenge. Cunha got there first. He definitely didn't dive. He was caught. And now Brazil have a chance to take the lead early on in this game, in this last 16 tie. And goalkeeper Orjan Nyland is going to delay as long as possible. But what we're not seeing here is silliness from the Norwegian players around the penalty spot, trying to scuff it up. But Nyland is just going to try and delay this as long as he can. Yeah,
that's what they do. There is going to be a level of gamesmanship involved. We must go back to the tackle. That was rotten. That was awful. There was no need to dive in there. It was going away from goal. He's made a slide tackle from about 10 yards away. Honestly, it was schoolboyish. It was very, very poor play against a top player. And most top players in that situation see it coming a mile, flick the ball by and take the hit. I'm stunned that he tried to make that tackle there.
I'm stunned that Bruno Guimarães is going to take the penalty for Brazil. Now, Brazilian fans may tell me otherwise. I've seen him take good penalties for Newcastle. I've seen him take poor penalties for Newcastle. Vinicius Junior has handed the ball over. So Bruno Guimarães, yet to score at the tournament. This a big moment. Up against Norway. Red-shirted Norwegian fans behind the goal, desperately trying to put him off. Deep breath from Guimarães. He runs on the spot. He approaches the ball, and with his right foot, it's saved. Nyland goes down to his left. That was not a good penalty. And Christopher Ayer gets away with a poor tackle, and Nyland turns to those thousands of Norwegian fans behind him and roars in delight.
They've looked at it as well a second time there. I thought the keeper moved very early off his line very quickly, but they seem to have looked at it and they've played on now, so he saved it. But sometimes when they take that long wait before they hit the ball, you just wonder, this is not going to have power. This must send the goalkeeper the wrong way.
Yeah.
It didn't, and it was saved.
Well, Carlo Ancelotti obviously knows what he's doing. Far be it from me to tell him anything at all about football, but I have to say, given the players out there, I was surprised that Bruno Guimarães was the man to step up. So, bit of drama early on in the game. 5 Live and BBC Sounds live at the World Cup again. Last 16 tie. Brazil 0, Norway 0. Haaland chasing a ball downfield. Gabriel heads it away. We're yet to get a moment in the match between the two. Nusa chests it down. Looks to get it to Muller-Wölfe, the left back flying forward. It's cleared away by Brazil, and Patrick Berg is happy to let that go out for a throw-in to Norway.
Well, one of the big things you've got, if you are the Brazilians now, you're thinking, OK, they might be very big, tough-looking centre-backs you're playing against, but they'll make mistakes, they'll dive in a bit, and the players, all 4 players up front for the Brazilians just now, they love that. They love a player that's going to dive in, particularly in the box. So even though they've not taken care of the penalty, they've not scored the penalty, they'll get a little lift from that, thinking, yeah, we can see a weakness here.
Alisson in the dark purple goalkeeping outfit receives the ball. Bright orange gloves, bright orange boots. Plays it to Gabriel. Norway just starting to press. Up the left-hand side it comes to Vinicius. He's fouled by Riasson, who comes through the back of him. Riasson started the game OK. And Norway will be breathing a big sigh of relief. They've actually, other than that tackle, Pat, made a really composed, assured start to the game. That was sort of out of character in a way.
Absolutely. Well, they started really well. Oh, lovely piece of skill.
Yeah, Ryan skinned his man, Muller-Wolfer, into the penalty area. Hits it early, slices it badly, and it goes behind for the goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, they had started very well, but the last few minutes, you begin to see little bits of Brazil. When they do get the ball forward, they've got the four at the back. The fullbacks don't go very often. They usually stay back a bit. You see Casemiro, he's sitting way back. Unless it's a corner kick, he's sitting way back. And the other 5 players, it's as if there's 2 teams out there. You've got the 5 at the back, and then the other 5, they basically go anywhere. So Bruno Guimaraes, he could end up in the right wing. Martinelli could end up left wing, right wing, centre forward. Doesn't really matter. And they've got such a level of fluidity about their team. And we sometimes see this with 3 or 4 players. They've got 5 that are doing it there. That's why the Brazilians.
We're in this giant, wide-open bowl of a stadium. Both teams, both Brazil and Norway, have already played in it in this tournament. Brazil, the 5 times world champions, last time winners in 2002. They've never gone in the history of the World Cup 6 World Cups without winning it. And we are at that point. If they don't win it this year, then that will break an unwanted record for the team that have won this World Cup more than any other nation. Here's Ødegaard on the ball for Norway, just shy of the halfway line. Muller-Wolfer infield to Berger. Giant Fulham midfielder just turns, plays it back out to the left-hand side. Nusa scored that wonder goal against the Ivory Coast. Cuts in off the left flank, rolls the pass to Berger. A lot of space out on the right-hand side for Riasson, who's the assist king for Borussia Dortmund. Got 4 of them in 1 game against Mainz towards the end of the Bundesliga season. It's patient possession from Norway. Here's Ødegaard again. 10 yards into the Brazilian half, central position, starts running at the yellow-shirted players. They've lost it, Norway. Vinicius Junior is away, gives it to Martinelli. Options to his left and right. Martinelli holds on to it. Now he feeds it to Vinicius. Forced a little wide here. So it's against Dyer again. Cross comes in, nearly found Martinelli. Clever cross, outside of the right foot, took it early.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, because he's on his right foot there, you think he's not going to take it, but he knows that if you take that early there, defence aren't ready. He puts it in exactly the right position. Should have scored.
Right. Here comes Ødegaard chugging forward with the ball at his feet. Gives it to Sorloth. Sorloth thought he had the beating of Douglas Santos. Santos watched the ball, stuck a foot in and won it. Played forward to Cunha inside his own half. Back it comes into the midfield to Guimaraes, who's got to settle himself, forget the missed penalty and carry on. Norway playing in only their 4th World Cup. Chatting to one of their journalists before the game. They've only ever gone into 1 period of extra time in their history. That was in the World Cup back in 1938. Have never been involved in a competitive penalty shootout. That could be a first if we go all that way ahead of Mexico-England later on. Mark Chapman will be back at half-time to continue the build-up to that. Nice build-up play from Brazil. Martinelli. Then it's threaded into the penalty area for Matheus Cunha to try and get on the end of, just beyond him, and Neelan comes sliding out and is able to collect it for Norway.
I know this has been said many, many times before when you've watched Erling Haaland play, but he's not really touched the ball yet, has he? I mean, have you mentioned his name other than talking about him? He's not really got on the ball. I mean, it's going to be very, very few touches that he's had so far in this game, and we're nearly 20 minutes in, and certainly nothing to go and attack from the wide areas.
Exactly the same in the game against the Ivory Coast, and then popped up late in the game with the finish that he didn't quite catch correctly. I don't know if you were watching that live, Pat.
Yeah.
Just squeezed it over the line, had that moment of panic. But he's walking at the moment. I mean, Norway have the ball inside the Brazilian half, but he's just biding his time, their giant number 9, with Braut Haaland, full surname written across his back.
They have got a problem, though. I mean, they go right, and they're getting it to Sorloth, and he's the janky 6'6" winger who hasn't got a trick.
Yeah.
So he's not really going to get that many crosses in. On the left-hand side, I have to say, I like Nusa, who, in his way, runs with the ball. He actually looks as if he's playing for the wrong team. He's got a lovely way with the ball. He's comfortable on it, can go either way. But they seem to be always going down the right wing away from Nusa. It's very strange. And if you're going to play that way and try and get balls in, you just wonder why Oscar Bob's not playing. And I liked Oscar. He played in the game against the French when they put out the B team, and I was at that game. And I thought Bob was brilliant that day. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Sorloth and Haaland worked well together in qualifying. Very patient Norwegian possession again, so you heard the jeers and the whistles from the Brazilian fans, but Brazil happy for Norway to have the ball at the moment. Sorloth inside his own half, keeps that Neelan clearance in play. Forward to Ødegaard, little trick from Ødegaard, and Vinicius not bothering to chase him there. Ødegaard goes past him, diagonal pass out to the right-hand side. Ryerson looking to get forward here, and Sorloth's moved into the inside right channel. Ødegaard on the ball again. Ryerson plays it infield to Berger. Cunha comes in as if he's about to make a challenge. It's given to Ødegaard again. Ødegaard creeping forward. Wide it goes to Ryerson. Thinks about a cross. Haaland's marked by 2 in the middle. It's not Gabriel, it's Marquinhos that he's next to at the moment. Ryerson challenged out there wide on the right for Norway. Berger helps him out. Pass out to the right and Sorloth. All in the same area of the field this. Back it comes to Ryerson again, and Ryerson decides to play it back into his own half to the centre-back, Hegem.
But they just keep on going right. Every time they get the ball, they turn away from the left-hand side. And I'm looking at myself, if you want to get Haaland a chance here, I mean, we know from the right-hand side that Ryerson, who you mentioned earlier on, has been getting a good number of assists. But he's got the ball 3 or 4 times in possessions there he could have had a cross in. And he's not made an attempt to do so. And every time they get the ball in the middle, it's as if they've just done that again.
Yeah.
They don't seem to rate Nusa on the left-hand side. It's very strange at the moment.
Well, if you saw the goal he scored against the Ivory Coast in the last game, unless this is a bit of rope-a-dope, we'll go right, we'll go right, we'll go right, and then we'll switch it to the left-hand side. But it was very similar to the goal that got he and Dennis all a quiver for Cape Verde against Argentina. The winger chopping onto the right foot, not from quite as far away as that brilliant goal against Argentina. Now Nusa's involved. Quick dancing feet. There was a foul there. Advantage was about to be played, and Nusa's annoyed because rare involvement in the game. He's been stopped in his tracks. Muller-Wulfer was caught, and that is a free kick for Norway.
Muller-Wulfer's absolutely fuming. He's a left back, and he cannot believe the ball's not coming over this left-hand side. He's shouting and screaming at his midfielders. Come on, get over here. At least ask a different question. The first time the ball's come over here, they've managed to get a free kick in what is, well, I was going to say a dangerous position, but every position is a dangerous position with the height that you've got with Norway in the middle there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 giants in red shirts in the Giants Stadium, no less. Gathered around the edge of the Brazilian penalty area. Plenty of the yellow shirts in a straight line along the edge of the box. Ødegaard goes short with the free kick, gets it back again. He's 50 yards out. He's on the left, and this time he gets Nusa involved. Nusa will have a run at Danilo. Cuts inside him. Nusa still going across the face of the box. Has a teammate there in support. That's Ryerson. Ryerson does well under pressure to hold on to the ball. He turns, plays it back out to the left to Berg. Nusa receives it, looks for the 1-2. Good tackle by Matheus Cunha. Suddenly Brazil are 2-on-2 here against Norway. Cunha coming forward, dancing feet, tries to take it outside the defender who looks to run him off the ball. Cunha goes down again, looking for another penalty here, and this time he's not going to get the decision.
No, he's definitely not going to get that one, but he was close. He almost got past the defender. He managed to get back, and there's a little bit of an arm out, but I don't think it's enough. Certainly in this World Cup with the bar being quite high to give penalty kicks. But it's a dangerous moment, the ball given away by Nusa, which might answer the question why they're not giving them out on the left-hand side all the time. If you lose the ball in that position when your full-back's gone wide of you, that leaves a massive gap behind, and you were nearly caught out there.
As Pat Nevin said, Hegem did just enough to stay with Cunha there, sort of beaten on the outside. He was stumbling forward, desperately trying to keep up with him, just did enough to sort of get his body in the way and run Cunha off the ball. Drinks break must be on the way soon, because we've already played 24 minutes in the first half, unless they've completely forgotten about it. I doubt it. Here's Aya, who conceded the penalty that was saved by Neeland from the right boot of Bruno Guimaraes. Fascinating World Cup last 16 encounter here. South America against Europe. Brazil against Norway remains 0-0. Ødegaard teasing players with the ball at his feet. Across it comes to Hegem. Hegem takes a few strides into the Brazilian half, plays it out to the left here to Nusa.
There's nothing Nusa can do, Ali. Nusa gets the ball and he wants to go down the line, and his full-back's outside him and beyond him. There's no space. He's basically going to run into bodies there. And it's really nice to see Muller-Wulfer, you know, desperate. You want to go and overlap and underlap for your full-back, but kind of wait until you get the ball first. Don't do it beforehand.
Nyland, Norway's goalkeeper, the hero already this afternoon with the penalty save, just outside his penalty area, hits diagonally towards Sorloth. That's been the plan all afternoon. Sorloth tries to control it, it hits his shins, goes spinning off them and out for a throw for Brazil.
I think Oscar Bob's got a slightly better touch than Sorloth. You know, have a wild stab at that one. The amount of times he's miscontrolled the ball, and he's not a right winger, is he? He's a centre forward. He's a target man. He's been asked to play out there. It is kind of weird, but you know, we understand if you get the ball on the left-hand side, eventually he might be able to come in at the back post for a header.
Gabriel on the ball. Gabriel Haaland as a battle yet to manifest itself in this game. Still 0-0. Ryan of Bournemouth, the 19-year-old, looking for the 1-2 with Guimaraes. Cleared, but only as far as Guimaraes. Nusa gets the ball in the left-back position, has a chance to run, dances away from the challenge there of Danilo. Ball is cleared away by Hegem in the end, after Nusa was tackled, and it goes out for a throw-in to Brazil, just inside their own half on the right, and the referee has remembered it is time for everyone to quench their thirst. 26 minutes gone in the first half. It is Brazil 0, Norway 0. I was just thinking,
cards, right? In a domestic league, we see it all the time. A red card's given, and then we see... Breaking World Cup news coming in. US men's national team striker Flo Balogun's red card, one-match suspension, has been suspended by FIFA. The red card was received during the round of 32 match against Bosnia and Herzegovina and would have caused the striker to miss out against their upcoming match against Belgium. So Balogun is now available to play in tomorrow's match. FIFA issued the following statement, which reads in part, in line with Article 27 of the FIFA Disciplinary Code, the implementation of the match suspension is suspended for a probationary period of 1 year. If Balogun commits another infringement of a similar nature and gravity during the probationary period, the suspensions shall be revoked and the sanction enforced without prejudice to any additional sanction imposed for the new infringement. Mike Lahoud is here to discuss. Mike, this is crazy, isn't it? Obviously, this is amazing news for the US men's national team, but what's your reaction to how we got here?
I mean, Poppy, my mind is blown right now, and I think every single person tuning in, every single person hearing this news, you and I have the same reaction. Our jaws are on the ground because I've never seen anything like this happen in our recent memory at a FIFA World Cup. This is, in my opinion, the biggest off-field decision, the biggest off-field news at this World Cup, and one of the biggest ones in the history of the game in the VAR era. So there's two schools of thought in this for me. If you're a U.S. soccer fan, as you said, or U.S. football fan, you will be over the moon. Because for me, Flo Balogun has been the best player for the U.S. men's national team. But this is dangerous territory for me. In the beginning, I've always said this, it was never a red card. Yes, you could argue dangerous play, but common sense tells you that never should have gone to the monitor. I stand by this. They got the call wrong from the beginning. But now this is where it becomes dangerous, because if you can make this call, I'm saying this as a neutral, not as someone who's an advocate for U.S. soccer. If you make this call, I'm curious what other calls FIFA is willing to make in the knockout round of the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, quite in surprising morning, to put it lightly. You know, we found out basically on our way into training, as the players did too. They were on the team bus when they found out the news, and so it's just been kind of a scramble and a reaction to that. Since then, you know, I'm still reporting, The Athletic is still reporting, talking to different sources about how this decision was made, but we can say that U.S. soccer was involved in the process, and obviously we've also seen you know, numerous other sources coming out and kind of speculation about what could have been involved here. But it's huge and surprising news, and the players are talking about how surprised they are. They really did not know until they were on the team bus on the way in today.
Paul, this is
Mexico. Saka and Gordon also expected to come in to replace Madueke and Rashford. So the 11 would likely be Pickford, Konza, Gahey, O'Reilly, Rice Anderson, Saka, Bellingham, Gordon and Kane.
Yeah, there's enough attack-minded players on there, without a shadow of a doubt.
That is Mexico-England. Kicks off at 1 a.m. and via the iPlayer you can listen to Five Live's commentary, fabulous commentary with John Murray and former England goalkeeper Paul Robinson as you watch the BBC pictures. Ryan's ball back here to Danilo, curling deep cross beyond Rierson. Vinicius is there to collect it for Brazil. Down by the dead ball line, plays a pass into space. Martinelli goes streaking into the box. It's rolled across goal. It nearly goes in. Goalkeeper Neelan got a touch, it went right across the line, miscue from Danilo as the cutback came to the edge of the box, and Nusa now able to dribble the ball away, but he's chased by 3 yellow-shirted Brazilians. He's knocked to the floor, and he has won Norway a free kick. Pat Nevin.
Living very dangerously there. Good play down the left-hand side. I was wondering whether it's offside. It wasn't. Brilliant players at Martinelli there. Plays it, hits off the keeper's foot. Knew nothing about it, and that flicked over. I mean, it was a tap in there at the back post, an easy tap in there by Bruno Guimaraes, but that flick, the undeliberate flick, puts it straight over his head. Great chance there for Brazil, and they have had the better chances by some distance.
Brazil 0, Norway 0. Neelan's crucial penalty save, we saw a replay of it in the drinks break, to his left-hand side. I'll use the old football cliche. There's the battle between Gabriel and Haaland. Wrestling match. Gabriel's on the floor. Alisson comes racing out. Haaland was trying to get onto the end of that ball. Gabriel complained he was fouled. Back it comes to the corner of the box here, and Douglas Santos plays it back to his goalkeeper, Alisson, who's able to clear it away with his left foot. Not the best clearance, straight out for a throw.
Right, 2 things about that. First of all, goalkeeper to Haaland, he's marked, and he almost gets through. And why have you not done it before? B, the more important point, Haaland was manhandling him, grabbing him, whatever. No free kick given. This is important. Haaland would have noticed that there. He will want more of the ball up to him so he can do that roughhouse stuff that he gets done to him, but he knows now that he can use his power back a little bit more.
First real threat from Erling Haaland in the game. Muller-Wolfer's ball forward, intercepted by Santos. Quickly forward to Ryan, who's in the centre circle. He was looking for the pass out to Danilo on the right. It was intercepted. Here's Nusa just inside his own half for Norway. Brazil 0, Norway 0. Pace on the ball from Berger. What a lovely first touch from Ødegaard. On the move, brought it down, turning in the same movement, and the pass goes straight out to Sorloth on the right-hand side. Ødegaard to Sorloth again. Sorloth to Ødegaard. Inside right channel, thinks about the cross. Haaland isn't really a target there. He's at walking pace on the edge of the D. Now he starts to make his way into the penalty area. Double step over from Nusa. Guimaraes not having any of that, just moves in, knocks him off the ball fairly. Well played out by Brazil from inside their own half. Casemiro looking for Vinicius. First time ball to Danilo. Danilo thought about releasing early into the middle. Loads of red shirts in there. Instead gives it to Vinicius. Moving at speed. Past the defender Heggen, but he knocks it too far. And it rolls behind for the goal kick to Norway. Brazil 0, Norway 0.
Well, you just knew that Vinicius Junior was going to get past his man there. He managed to do it with a little nutmeg. Just a little bit too much pace on it. He couldn't get it before the line. They do look smooth in the ball. When they're attacking, they look very, very smooth in the ball.
So goal kick for Norway, the last European team that Brazil beat in the knockout stages of the World Cup. You go back to the last time they won the competition. Incredible this, really. The final against Germany in 2002. They have beaten European teams in the group stages since then. But in terms of the knockout stages, it has been defeats every time. Alisson quickly off his line again, well outside his area. Clears away on the half volley. Aya wins the header above Cunha. Drops inside the Brazil half. Martinelli again moving at speed, running from left to right across his own half. Wants some forward runners. Danilo wasn't too interested. He gets it from the Arsenal man Martinelli, who didn't get as many starts as he would have liked for Arsenal this season. His goal-scoring record, though, still very good. Crucial goals, lots of them in the Champions League. Scored the late winner against Japan here. Sorloth has it for Norway inside his own half. Feeds it to Haaland. Haaland turns away from Marquinhos. Sliding challenge on him by Santos. Won it initially, but Norway come again. They can't find Nusa on the left. And suddenly the game looks a little bit more open because Cunha turns on the halfway line. And Norway defenders desperately backpedaling. They don't want to see this man on the ball. Vinicius feeds it infield to Guimaraes. Guimaraes to his right, to Ryan. Ryan round the corner to Vinicius, hits it low and hard, blocked by the defender. And Muller-Wolfer is able to get a foot in. Heggen, in fact, does that, and he clears the ball away for Norway.
When you watch Vinicius Junior run with the ball, it's very similar to Eden Hazard at his very, very best. You know he's going to beat the first man. That's a given. It's just how he's going to do against the second and third.
Ryan plays it back to Danilo, Brazil's right back. Ryan again pushes it forward. Guimaraes tries the first time cross. Run is brilliantly covered by Patrick Berg. Comes back out here to Danilo. The pass is behind Casemiro. It's loose. Here come Norway. Sorloth on the ball. Support on his right from Ødegaard. Haaland is in the middle. Brazil players just jockeying for position here. Ødegaard threateningly moves infield from right to left. Now then, Nusa, edge of the penalty area. Onto the right foot. Looks for Ødegaard with the pass. Might still fall for him. Angle suddenly got tight. He turns away from goal. Still has it inside the Brazil penalty area. Sets up the left-footed shot. Hits the side netting. Alisson had it covered. Brazil 0, Norway 0.
Actually, not bad. That's a really good break there on the right-hand side. Odegaard's finding himself in brilliant spaces. This time he was found. There was about 2 or 3 minutes before that, the ball was wide on that area there. Solap was on the ball. If he'd have found, and it was an easy pass to find Odegaard on the right-hand side, he was away, absolutely miles away in that right-hand side. It would have made a great chance. Solap couldn't find them on that occasion. On this occasion, yeah, they managed to get it. Nothing quite come out of it. And you can see the strengths and the limitations of that Norwegian side just now. And I think Ancelotti's not stupid. He knows what they are. That's why he's making sure that every time they get the ball on the left-hand side here, Nusa, just show him inside. Just show him into danger. He's doing it every time. Nusa's a lovely player, but he's losing the ball a lot because he's doing the same thing all the time.
Guimaraes' ball out from the back was not good enough for Cunha. Made it a 50-50. Norway have won it. Not moving particularly at pace here, but Ryerson has it on the right-hand side. Brazil 0, Norway 0. Winners to face Mexico or England, whoever wins in the big one in the Azteca tonight. Full commentary on the way here on 5 Live. It kicks off at 1 o'clock UK time. Hegem receives it in the centre circle. You can see all the footfall around the centre circle there. The pitch looks absolutely perfect from way on high, but you can see the foot trails where the players have been making their marks. It comes to Müller-Wölfer in the inside left channel. Nusa now gets it onto his right foot. Cross looking for Haaland. Little flick from Haaland trying to lob Alisson. He leaps in the air and catches that very easily. Nice try.
Finally a cross that Haaland can have a dig at, have a go at. And he's got it on target. He's flicked it behind. There was no power on it, and there's no chance Alisson's going to drop that one. But again, you do wonder why teams, and it sometimes happens with City as well, why they don't get the ball to him just that little bit quicker, because he comes alive when the ball's within a few yards of him, Erling Haaland.
Gabriel's on the ball for Brazil. Casemiro closest to him, just inside the Norway half. Marquinhos to Guimaraes. Guimaraes, who had the chance from the penalty spot early on in the game to put Brazil in front. Goalkeeper Nyland guessed the right way. Ball looking for Cunha down the inside right channel, flicked away by Berger. Was there a high boot there from Martinelli? Referee says play on, eventually decides to blow his whistle and give that decision. In terms of the other World Cup football, after Mexico-England, we will have 4 more. The last 16 commentaries for you. Portugal-Spain tomorrow night at 8 p.m. I think that game's in Dallas. I think that's Ian Dennis and Chris Sutton with that one. USA-Belgium in the early hours of Tuesday morning at 1 a.m. The big story today, the following Balogun, having received a red card in the last game, will be allowed to play in that game for the USA. The red card, the suspension as it were, has been suspended, which is a massive talking point here. Argentina-Egypt at 5, Switzerland-Colombia at 9, all to come tomorrow. Sorlot's cross on the right, blocked by Santos. Ryerson is there quickly for Norway. Ryerson moving away from goal here, followed by Santos, needs support. Ayer is there.
They're doing well, aren't they, Norway? They're actually holding the ball well. Brazil are almost wanting to play, you know, on the counter. And you understand that because the pace they've got, the quality they've got, and quite a lot of times they've found themselves with 2-2s or 3-3s or 4-4s. And they'll back themselves to get something out of that eventually. They've got a penalty out of it already, but that's how they're trying to play this game just now, on the counter.
Nusa trying to dribble in field, tackled. Ryan is there, deep for Brazil though inside his own half. Loose pass, headed forward, chested down here and volleyed away to Guimaraes. Guimaraes holds off the challenge of Müller-Wölfer. Casemiro quickly in support. Casemiro's now started 15 of 16 games under Carlo Ancelotti. Ancelotti, the first, in inverted commas, foreigner to manage Brazil at a World Cup, and no foreigner as such has ever won the World Cup in charge of another nation. That's what Thomas Tuchel's trying to do for England. It's what Carlo Ancelotti is trying to do for Brazil. It's what Roberto Martinez is trying to do for Portugal. It's never happened before. Here's Ryan, number 26 on his back, the 19-year-old, strokes it back to Casemiro, lines up a left-footed strike, in it comes, blocked by Hegem. Ball spinning out of the penalty area. Gabriel moves towards it, stuns it with his left boot, passes to his right to Danilo. Casemiro again, similar position, 40 yards out, and this time he decides to come back towards the halfway line and it goes left.
He's having one of those games where he's controlling it really nicely, Casemiro, just now. He's not being put under a huge amount of pressure. There's not players breaking that off him from midfield that he has to chase. But given the ball in that sort of time there, he controls parts of games.
Ryerson wins the latest personal duel with Vinicius. Vinicius wins the ball back off Ødegaard. Martinelli looking for Vinicius onto the left foot. Good save at the near post by Nyland. Vinicius was quick as a flash there. Norway thought the danger had gone, but in he went, won it back from Martin Ødegaard and really tested Nyland, the Norwegian goalkeeper.
Well, Ødegaard's fallen for what I have to say Scotland for quite a few times when they played against Brazil. You don't take chances, you don't take it easy when you're in the box because they're so fast.
They've taken the corner quickly. They've given it to Vinicius again on the move at speed. This time the pass goes awry. Nusa, that's a poor ball out. I mean, he didn't have an option forward, but he couldn't hold on to it. Douglas Santos, the left back, decides to come back to Allison, midway inside his own half. Looks like a giant bearded blackcurrant, Allison does today in that goalkeeping uniform. And that's a miscontrol from Vinicius on the left-hand side. The ball gets away from him and goes out for a throw into Norway in the right-back position. So just 5 minutes left in the first half, Pat. Brazil 0, Norway 0.
Yeah, and take a picture of that. Vinicius Jr. having a bad touch there, and it was a terribly poor touch. I think the Norwegians will be delighted with this. I think they'll come more into the game. They started well, then there was a period you were slightly concerned about them. The penalty then happened. Had that penalty been scored, this would have been, you would imagine, a completely different game. The Brazilians might have been able to pick them off if they pushed forward a little bit too much. But as is, Norwegians have been able to get back into their shape, into the game they want to play. There's a couple of things that surprise me. I have mentioned it a few times. They've got the right winger out there who he's not great at controlling the ball. He can't go past his man, and you're wanting balls played into the striker, which has happened now.
Towards Haaland has caused problems. Gabriel is back there and went over Marquinhos' head. It bounced. Gabriel saw the danger, got there just in time. But twice, Pat, they've tried it, and twice it's caused real problems.
It is, you know, and it's a simple one. You know, I don't know why they don't want to try it a little bit more often. I mean, it may well be that that's something you go to later in the game, but at the moment, it is worrying, Marquinhos.
Norway win the ball in the centre circle. Nusa on the dribble, forward to Haaland. Here we go, up against Gabriel, edge of the penalty. Haaland on his left foot, plays it to Ødegaard. Ødegaard shoots. That's blocked at the near post by Danilo, who celebrates the defensive work, but Norway have won themselves a corner, so the big men will rumble forward again, 0-0.
Were you surprised that he didn't have a shot at goal? I was absolutely stunned and shocked. Yeah, there's a couple of men coming towards him there, but you know, that's where Haaland loves. Gets the ball round about the 18-yard line. He's got the momentum. He's running towards the goal, but he just passes it off. Almost takes the easy option on this occasion, which is not his style usually.
Haaland lurking at the far post. I mean, I'll probably be fooled by this, but there's 4 of them gathered at the back post. But now they move away, so Haaland's at walking pace, heading back towards the penalty spot. Suddenly bursts into life. Corner comes in from the left. That's poor delivery. Headed away at the near post by Cunha. Bounces up for Nusa, flicks a header to his right. Ryerson gets there first, nods it forward, laid off by Hegem, lofted up in the air. Sorloth can't go for that because he's in an offside position, and like a good rugby union fullback, Allison says, my ball, catches it and takes the mark.
At the risk of getting in before Mark Chapman asked me the question at half-time, the quality of crosses, considering the height of players that Norway have got, has been absolutely woeful, and particularly corner kicks as well. If you have got that advantage, for goodness sake, you've got to use it. They've not done that at all.
Casemiro forward to Cunha. Hegem's lost it to Cunha on the edge of the box. Vinicius trying to wriggle his way through a very tight space, couldn't do it. That's a good ball from Ryerson outside of his right foot. Gabriel goes across to cover. So this is Sorloth against Gabriel. Sorloth stopped, though, and Brazil have got back.
He's not going to go down the line, is he? Sorloth. He's got one-on-one with the full-back. He's got acres and acres of space, and you know he's going to come inside. Again, I know why you do it, and he's physically a big player, and he's an important player, but if you've got a natural in Oscar Bob who can play there, who's a great player there, who's won, well, when he's come on, he's looked fantastic as well, but he started against the French, he was very, very good.
Heading into the last minute of the first half, Brazil 0, Norway 0. Mark Chapman back with us at half-time. We'll continue the build-up to Mexico-England. Kicks off at 1 a.m. I hope you're getting ready for that one back home. John Murray and Paul Robinson with the commentary. Last we heard from our football correspondent John Murray, he was circling the Azteca looking for a parking space. That can't be easy, Pat.
He won't be enjoying that. But we do know the feeling.
Yes.
There's a lot of stadiums here where they've got an unusual attitude towards signage.
Well, producer John Southall, I think, must have walked a good 2 miles to get our parking pass today.
Yeah, you've got a place to park to go and get the parking pass, which happens to be about 2 miles.
Yes, exactly.
Madness.
Back it comes to Nyland. How much added time are we going to get at the end of this first half? We'll find out in about 20 seconds. Nieland, all in green, has made two really important saves in the game. Sharp one at the near post from Vinicius. Got a little bit lucky with a Vinicius effort that hit his leg and went across the goal line. Saved the penalty from Guimaraes. Haaland's come deep to get involved. Wins it for Norway. Plays it to his right-hand side. The red shirts, the Vikings, start to swarm forward, but Sorloth slows it down on the right. Plays it back to Rierson. That's Berger. Berger goes wide to Sorloth. Chance to cross here, decides to go for it, and that, Pat, is not a good cross. Blocked by Martinelli.
Do you know what you do? You beat the first man. Kind of number one of the wide player. When you get in a position and you've got plenty of space, you beat the first player. You know, you just do it each time. It's not a difficult thing to do. And again, it's not an abuse of Sorloth because that's not his position. He's in the middle now for a long throw. That's his position. That would suit him better.
6 minutes of added time. We're just into them. In comes the throw. Long, flat, powerful. Cunha does well to leap and head it away. Straight back to Rierson. Rierson could try and beat Martinelli. He's got the pace to stick with him. Blocked by Martinelli. Norway have a corner. They'll certainly take that late in the first half. We look to our left. 3 tiers steepling up away into the distance. Absolutely packed with yellow Brazilian shirts, but there are red shirts in there as well, Pat, and you spotted a lovely interaction before the game between the Brazilians and the Norwegians.
They were doing the rowing. I wish they'd do it again at some point, and a Brazilian with a huge Brazilian yellow flag in the middle of it was going the other way as if he was lashing the rowers. It was up, and they were loving it. Yeah. It was brilliant.
Corner then for Norway, 0-0 late in the first half. Ødegaard, this one's deep to the far post, headed back across goal by Sorloth. Down to Martinelli. Martinelli tries to dribble out. Straight up the pitch he goes. Pushes his pass forward, but can't find Vinicius. Played back to the goalkeeper by Muller-Wölfe.
I think one of the other things that listeners at home will be thinking, well, you know, how hot is it? In the last game of 5 Live, it was us yesterday talking about this incredible 100+ degrees heat. It's not like that today. We're only, what, 2 hours drive away, but it's damp. I mean, it's 80, 81, 82, 83, something like that. Yes, it's warm, but it's nowhere near like it was yesterday.
No, that weather broke in Philadelphia last night after the game. There was heavy rain, but much cooler here today. There has been the threat of storms in the weather forecast, and we were told around about now, but at the moment, and I'm only just looking above me, the skies aren't quite as leaden and heavy and grey as they were, so definitely fingers crossed on that one. Weather report will be important from Mexico City as well. That'll be coming up shortly. We're 3 minutes into 6 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. The ball is back with Ørjan Nieland, Norway's 35-year-old goalkeeper, who's had a magic moment in this World Cup game. Haaland battling with Gabriel, might get the better of him. Marquinhos is there to help out. Falls to Ødegaard, left-footed drive. Alisson's out and gets down and smothers it. It so nearly crept under his body and fizzed into the back of the net. Crucial intervention from Brazil's goalkeeper.
Again, we keep on saying, why don't you do it more often? It's the old one-touch move. Just leathering it up to Haaland. Creates utter mayhem there. He thought about going down, didn't he? He was through on goal there. He thought about going down. He didn't. He probably did the right thing because he was outside the box. It was 19 yards out there. But get it to Haaland. He's causing mayhem when you give them the ball.
3 times that's happened, and 3 times it's taken 2 of them to deal with him. And Marquinhos was to the rescue there because Haaland's physicality bumped Gabriel out of the action. Norway know it's possible. Guimaraes onto the ball for Brazil. Norway with defending to do now as we tick down towards half-time. Guimaraes' pass out to the right finds Danilo. Danilo back to Casemiro in a central position, 35 yards out, given to Guimaraes, moving from right to left, and wide it goes to Vinicius. Rierson comes towards Vinicius, who tries to take it on the outside, still has the ball at his feet, zips it back to Guimaraes, tees himself up, right-footed shot, headed, I think, by Cunha to his right-hand side. The ball falls at the feet of Danilo. Casemiro's first-time cross, great ball, nearly found Martinelli, who was on the run. Couldn't direct the header on target. It goes behind for a goal kick. I think he might have been onside.
Yeah, a foot lower, and you think that's got to be a goal there. Lovely ball, late run into the box there. No one's back him, he's well inside. You spotted that right there, Alistair. And I'll say a foot, I'll say 3 inches lower. And he would have got in the end of that. Very, very unlucky. And again, a great opportunity. That's about 3 now. I'd say that are clear-cut, including the penalty kick that they've got. The Brazilian team, not quite clicked for them yet, but you've got to say the Norwegians have got 1 or 2 as well. There's not a lot in this game. Not much at all.
90 seconds left in added time at the end of the first half. Berg lumps it high in the air. Sorloth controls it wide on the right. Douglas Santos behind him. Ødegaard's got to scamper and sprint to get to that ball first. He got there just in time. Now he receives it in a more comfortable position. Quickly moves it on to Sander Berge. Wide to Sorloth. Santos breathing down his neck behind him. Berge passes back to the halfway line. Norway content here, last minute of the first half, just to move the ball around if an opportunity presents itself. Like this possibly for Noosa, he's very deep here, not going to take his man on. Passes back across the midfield to Berge. Floated ball down the middle. Ødegaard's made the run. Gabriel's got it covered. It bounces and it's into the hands of Alisson, who bowls it out underarm quickly to Martinelli, who turns inside his own half. He's brought to the ground by Ryerson. That'll be a free kick. Brazil will take it quickly. The ref's happy with that. Casemiro passes to Vinicius. Vinicius is up against Ayer. He'll absolutely love that. He takes the ball infield, step over. Ryerson is back to help out. Vinicius still going. Past Ayer with speed. Down Vinicius goes. The referee is not buying that, and Christopher Ayer comes over and says to Vinicius Jr. something like, "You're better than that."
Possibly so. I've something possibly a little bit stronger than that as well. But there's a little tug of the shirt. There's no doubt there is a tug of the shirt there. It's not enough to make him fall over the way he did. He feels his shirt being tugged and he threw himself to the ground. And that's the difference in this World Cup. They're not allowing that, not accepting that at all. And it's just a change in the rules. They're changing the way the rules are looked at. And it's the last bit of danger that the Norwegians have to deal with in this half.
Engrossing first half, no goals. This is Neelan's.
I'm saying this is a
reaction to how we got here.
I mean, Poppy, my mind is blown right now, and I think every single person tuning in, every single person hearing this news, you and I had the same reaction. Our jaws are on the ground because I've never seen anything like this happen in our recent memory at a FIFA World Cup. This is, in my opinion, the biggest off-field decision, the biggest off-field news at this World Cup, and one of the biggest ones in the history of the game in the VAR era. So there's two schools of thought in this for me. If you're a U.S. soccer fan, as you said, or U.S. football fan, you will be over the moon. Because for me, Flo Balogun has been the best player for the U.S. men's national team. But this is dangerous territory for me. In the beginning, I've always said this, it was never a red card. Yes, you could argue dangerous play, but common sense tells you that never should have gone to the monitor. I stand by this. They got the call wrong from the beginning. But now, this is where it becomes dangerous, because if you can make this call, I'm saying this as a neutral, not as someone who's an advocate for U.S. soccer. If you make this call, I'm curious what other calls FIFA is willing to make in the knockout round of the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, quite in surprising morning, to put it lightly. You know, we found out basically on our way into training, as the players did too. They were on the team bus when they found out the news, and so it's just been kind of a scramble and a reaction to that. Since then, you know, I'm still reporting, The Athletic is still reporting, talking to different sources about how this decision was made. But we can say that U.S. soccer was involved in the process. And obviously, we've also seen, you know, numerous other sources coming out and kind of speculation about what could have been involved here. But it's huge and surprising news, and the players are talking about how surprised they are. They really did not know until they were on the team bus on the way in today.
Paul, this is significant. As I said before, this is one of the biggest news I've seen off the pitch at a World Cup in recent memory. What's been the mood, not just amongst the players who you alluded to, but amongst staff? And have you been able to talk with Mauricio Pochettino?
Pochettino did not come over to where the media were. Chris Richards and Alex Freeman, Christian Pulisic all came over. Obviously, all of them in very good moods. There's kind of a light spirit to the group. It's nothing super celebratory that you see going on. In fact, in every other way, it kind of feels business as usual. You know, when we were out there, the players were just kind of walking around. Some players are doing some stuff to prepare for practice. Other players are just kind of hanging out as they do every other training session. So it wasn't like we saw, you know, champagne bottles being popped or anything like that. Like, I was kind of surprised that the mood in general seemed very calm on that side of the field. On the media side of the field, it was complete chaos. Everyone's scrambling around. And I think a lot of the staffers were also scrambling to be able to kind of communicate to us what was happening. But yeah, like, you looked across the field at the players and it was kind of very calm. And Chris Richards said, business as usual. We've been training all week like it's the same. Obviously, Christian Pulisic said we've tried different tactical looks as well, but it's business as usual no matter who's playing.
Really interesting, Paul. You said US soccer is involved. Obviously, we've seen the White House tweet out as well. What is the involvement with US soccer? What's the latest you can tell us on that front?
Well, what we can say is that they were involved in the process, for sure, involved in the process. Now, we have not been able to confirm the White House's involvement to this point. Obviously, we've seen what you guys have seen, which is President Donald Trump put out thank you to FIFA for doing what was right and reversing a great injustice. But beyond seeing that statement from him, we haven't confirmed anything official, at least from U.S. Soccer or the White House, involving, as far as it goes, their involvement in this decision.
Paul, I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. And I think Poppy and I are in the same school of thought. We've never seen this, right? When you look at moving forward, how big and how seismic of a shift now is this in terms of rules, in terms of FIFA going back and making rulings like this? Because I still stand by this. This is very dangerous territory. As much as I want to say it's a big win for the U.S., this opens a potential Pandora's box, no?
Yeah, I mean, what I've been interested to see is that my reaction for my friends who are American fans on social media, they don't care, right? They're like, we don't care if this is a bad look. We don't care. We're happy with the decision. We're going for it. We're celebrating it. We're good with it. And then there's pretty much the everyone else reaction, which is like, this isn't good. This is setting a bad precedent, which it is. How did this decision get made? How transparent is FIFA going to be about how this decision was made? Obviously, we saw that a decision was made before this World Cup with Cristiano Ronaldo to suspend 2 games of his 3-game suspension. This feels somewhat similar to that. When is FIFA going to be picking and choosing how to make these decisions? The difference between the Ronaldo one and this one is Balogun isn't going to serve his red card suspension. Ronaldo did serve that first game of the 3-game suspension. So, yeah, certainly something interesting to talk about.
So now
Nutella ice cream makes us a spoonful happier.
'Cause you give me the
Discover the incredible taste of Nutella in every spoonful. Nutella ice cream, a spoonful of happiness.
national holiday, the 5th of July. That's how big this ruling is. For you on the pitch, Chuck, how significant and how does this change things for the U.S. men's national team in attack against the Belgium side that they can be gotten at, and defensively they look vulnerable?
Yeah, I mean, take a look at the U.S. men's national team midfield, for instance. Malik Tillman is up there with the best in the world in this tournament. Christian Pulisic, who hasn't even yet hit gear 5, is still, I'd say, hovering around the potential to be that Christian Pulisic that we all expect him to be in the knockout stages, you know, that defining moment. So it's almost like he's simmering, right? Because he only had 45 minutes, what a start to the first 45 minutes of this World Cup against Paraguay. The calf issue, he's out a game and a half. He comes back. Now it feels like he's warming up. So I couldn't have been more proud of his performance in the second half, especially when they went down a man against Bosnia. It showed real maturity. It showed real leadership. So I was thrilled with Christian in that instance. Tyler Adams has been phenomenal from minute 1 to this match heading up against Belgium. I absolutely love everything he's done for the U.S. men's national team, setting the tone, covering all the cracks. If there have been some leaks in some of these performances, Tyler Adams cleans everything up. Just a phenomenal player. And then Weston McKennie, what can't we say about him? He's played every single match for the U.S. men's national team in this World Cup, box to box, in terms of line-breaking passes, up there with the best in this tournament. So I'm thrilled. But when you're talking about the 9, they're even Ricardo Pepi just doesn't come close to what Balogun gives you when we're talking about peak Balogun. We're talking about a number 9 full of confidence. He shows his verticality, his belief in the final third, being able to play in tight spaces within and out of the box. I've just been thrilled with his progress as a true striker this year. And when you're talking about his understanding of the teammates and their tendencies, now the team knows how to get the most out of him and vice versa. He understands the player's tendencies and which player is going to serve it, how they're going to serve it, which spaces to get into. So that's a massive, massive difference when you're talking about a guy who can really finish when you need him to get on to the next round. So Lahoud, you're spot on when you're talking about a player that there is no plan B really without Balogun. You need him at the tip of the spear when you're talking about progressing into the next round.
Charlie, speaking of the next round, I want to put you on the spot and ask you a question. Without Balogun, did you have the US going through? And now with Balogun, how much does that change things? Would you have them going through now, and would you have before without him?
Poppy, great question. I had the US beating Belgium without Balogun. I don't think Belgium have been convincing. And Lahoud, you've seen just the, I don't want to say demise, but definitely an aging Belgian side that it's almost playing without the energy and without the clinical side of things that we've normally been accustomed to seeing from Belgium. I look at Lissandro Trossard, who's their best player at the moment, and you know, we kind of know what Trossard can give you, but with Lukaku, who can't give you more than 60 minutes, let alone a start, you know, he just can't move. But given an opportunity, he'll make you pay, as we saw in the 86th minute against Senegal. And then Kevin De Bruyne is just not the Kevin De Bruyne of old. He can't run from box to box and dribble past three players and come up with a magical pass or a magical finish. That's just not in his game anymore. So when you're watching Belgium throughout this World Cup, you're saying they're nearly not inspiring like they may have in the past. Whereas the US, it feels like they're just getting better. And they've played different types of games, and they've managed to figure out a way to one, get a result, but also to neutralize the opponent in whatever strength they have. So I will be full of confidence, Poppy. I'll never guarantee anything, but I will say I am in full belief that this U.S. team will move on to the quarterfinals.
I love the confidence, and Pop, I think he's right. I think this changes the pendulum significantly. But I want to flip it around from the Belgian perspective. You and I have been in locker rooms. We've been part of squads where wrong decisions or egregious decisions or right decisions get made before a ball is kicked, right? How much of a fire is this going to light in Belgium's belly? And just give us a player's perspective looking at the opposition.
I don't think it's going to light a fire in their belly, Lahoud. They're just trying to prove a point that they can get to the quarterfinals, they can get to a semifinals, but they've been uninspiring. So you're thinking about, okay, when can we flip that switch and be the Belgium that everyone knows us to be? And that means, you know, a Tillemans and an Onana and a KDB thriving in the midfield and dictating possession and tempo. We just haven't seen that. They're a team right now that, for me, they'll give you chances, and we know they have quality, but defensively they can be exposed. We saw that with Senegal on multiple occasions. So that with Egypt on multiple occasions. We even saw that with New Zealand. And so when I look at this team with Belgium, sure, they'll have a point to prove. Sure, these are a lot of these guys' last chance at playing in a World Cup. So you obviously want to go out on a positive. But when you know that the U.S. is getting their difference maker back, it gives the U.S. an emotional boost, and it also puts Belgium in a weird position, because they're saying, oh, well, the focus goes from let's just do our thing to why do they get that advantage? Why does Balogun get to come back in? He got a red card. He shouldn't be allowed to play, regardless if they think it's right or wrong. So now you're forcing Belgium to start asking these questions, and it's a distraction rather than, you know, something that you can rally against and get, hey, it's FIFA against the world. It's everyone against Belgium. Let's use that mentality. So if anything, Rudy Garcia, the manager, has to be a little bit better with his decision making, has to get these guys playing on the front foot and not so much sitting back and defending and looking to counter, because that may have worked against Senegal and just, let's say, in the last 10 minutes of the game, because Senegal botched their tactics and should have kept the pressure on Belgium. I think when you're looking at Mauricio Pochettino and how he has motivated these guys, how he has pushed these guys to go beyond what they thought they were maybe capable of, I think they're going to continue to put the pressure on Belgium, and they're not going to revert just to defending and trying to protect the lead and allow Belgium to enter into the final third and serve balls in the box for Lukaku.
Breaking World Cup news coming in. US men's national team striker Flo Balogun's red card, one-match suspension, has been suspended by FIFA. The red card was received during the round of 32 match against Bosnia and Herzegovina and would have caused the striker to miss out against their upcoming match against Belgium. So Balogun is now available to play in tomorrow's match. FIFA issued the following statement, which reads in part, in line with Article 27 of the FIFA disciplinary code, the implementation of the match suspension is suspended for a probationary period of 1 year. If Balogun commits another infringement of a similar nature and gravity during the probationary period, the suspensions shall be revoked and the sanction enforced without prejudice to any additional sanction imposed for the new infringement. Mike Lahoud is here to discuss. Mike, this is crazy, isn't it? Obviously, this is amazing news for the US men's national team, but what's your reaction to how we got here?
I mean, Poppy, my mind is blown right now, and I think every single person tuning in, every single person hearing this news, you and I have the same reaction. Our jaws are on the ground because I've never seen anything like this happen in our recent memory at a FIFA World Cup. This is, in my opinion, the biggest off-field decision, the biggest off-field news at this World Cup, and one of the biggest ones in the history of the game in the VAR era. So there's two schools of thought in this for me. If you're a U.S. soccer fan, as you said, or U.S. football fan, you will be over the moon. Because for me, Flo Balogun has been the best player for the U.S. men's national team. But this is dangerous territory for me. In the beginning, I've always said this, it was never a red card. Yes, you could argue dangerous play, but common sense tells you that never should have gone to the monitor. I stand by this. They got the call wrong from the beginning. But now this is where it becomes dangerous, because if you can make this call, I'm saying this as a neutral, not as someone who's an advocate for U.S. soccer. If you make this call, I'm curious what other calls FIFA is willing to make in the knockout round of the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, quite in surprising morning, to put it lightly. We found out basically on our way into training, as the players did too. They were on the team bus when they found out the news, and so it's just been kind of a scramble and a reaction to that. Since then, I'm still reporting, The Athletic is still reporting, talking to different sources about how this decision was made. But we can say that U.S. soccer was involved in the process. And obviously, we've also seen, numerous other sources coming out and kind of speculation about what could have been involved here. But it's huge and surprising news.
Allowing him to play in the USA's last 16 match against Belgium. The Belgians themselves have said in a statement, it is astonished by FIFA's decision and are investigating all options. Second half about to get underway in New Jersey. I think Pat will like the Norwegian changes, Ali.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Countdown to the second half is underway. Brazil 0, Norway 0. Jan Nyland, the Norwegian goalkeeper, saving the Bruno Guimaraes penalty. Brazil playing from right to left in the second half, get us underway. So the one change for them from their last 32 win against Japan has seen Gabriel Martinelli come in for Lucas Paquetá. Martinelli has kicked us off. Alisson's played the ball downfield. Cunha is wrestling with Hegem, but Hegem is able to hold him off, and it goes behind for a goal kick. They've changed both wide men, Pat, which I imagine Antonio Nusa might feel a little bit disgruntled about. So Sorloth and Nusa off, and on come Andreas Schelderup of Benfica on the left-hand side, Oscar Bob on the right.
Well, first of all, I'm not surprised by Oscar Bob coming on, as Mark was subtly hinting at. Sorloth just wasn't getting the ball in the middle and can't play that position. Right, so good decision there. I'm not either particularly surprised by Schelderup in the far side. He did very well the first time I watched him. He was playing for basically what was the B side, but he did very, very well. And the problem with Nusa, great skills, lovely on the ball, did the same thing every single time the Brazilians knew what he was going to do and kept on catching him and breaking on him. So I fully understand why both of those wingers were changed.
John Murray will keep us updated on the weather in Mexico City. Mexico-England due to kick off at 1 o'clock in the morning UK time. Full commentary here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. You can listen to our commentary as you watch the pictures via the BBC iPlayer. If you can't stay up tonight, rerun on BBC 2 just after 7 o'clock in the morning. Extended highlights on the iPlayer as well. Here's Ryan. Early attack down the right for Brazil second half. Left-footed cross comes in. Hegem volleys it away. The other thing, Pat, I remember commentating on Norway-Scotland with you. Once Bob is playing, if you're a Blackadder fan, like you and I both are, it's impossible not to say Bob.
Bob. Yes, impossible.
So I apologise for that if that continues throughout the second half. Gabriel, diagonal ball away to the right. Ryan chests it down. That's a handball. Schelderup immediately appealed for it. Assistant referee right behind put the flag up. So just to repeat on the stats, Norway looking to reach a World Cup quarter-final for the first time in their history. And Brazil, it will be if they lose the game just because it is Brazil and they're standing, it will be an ignominious exit. They've not lost the last 16 games since Italia 90, so if it happens today, it'll be the first time in 9 World Cups.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, it would be a surprise but not a shock.
Yeah.
You know, you say, oh, really? In days gone by, it would have been amazing, but the way the game's gone just now, it's absolutely on a knife edge. You wouldn't really want to guess. I would say, just by chances created, the Brazilians have got a little bit more, but then they haven't got Haaland. That's what it comes down to, you'd think.
Yellow shirts, blue shorts, white socks, Brazil. Red shirts with the big blue cross on the front for Norway. White shorts and dark blue socks. Brazil have Alisson in goal, Danilo, Marquinhos, Gabriel and Douglas Santos. Bruno Guimaraes and Casemiro in midfield. Ryan, Martinelli, Vinicius Junior and Mateus Cunha. Norway have the ball inside their own half with Julian Riasson. He's at right back. Muller-Wolfer at left back. Goalkeeper is Nieland. Ayer and Hegem, the two centre-backs. Ødegaard, Berger and Berg in midfield. And then the wide men have changed. So it's Schjelderup and Bob either side of Erling Haaland, who is looking for his 6th goal of this tournament to tuck himself just 1 goal behind Messi and Mbappe. He's looking for his 61st goal in only his 54th international. Crazy numbers at every level of the game for Erling Haaland. Good dribbling from Patrick Berg. Hits the right-footed shot. That's dreadful. Miles over the bar. That's gone about 25 rows back into those Norwegian fans. And they've got a section of the stand there, Pat, in the lower tier, that has them lined up like they're in a longboat. I mean, yeah. if they win this game, that is where we're looking at the end.
Absolutely. It's odd. It's almost made for the longboat.
It is, isn't it?
It looks like a longboat. So it's just that moment, that shot from Berg there. It was so high over the crossbar that that's hard to do, even if you try and do it. I mean, he's got to look for the bobble, but it doesn't look like many bobbles down in that pitch.
No, we've had plenty of chat about altitude in the build-up to Mexico-England. That certainly was altitude from little Patrick Berg. He's won a good header there, though. Nods it to his left-hand side to Schjelderup.
Because I think the man on the ball just now is probably the most important man in the team after, obviously, Haaland. I think if you get the ball to Ødegaard, he will start finding Bob. If he found the way he did in the first half, found you know, the attacking wide players in the first half, he couldn't get crosses in. I'm sure Bob will.
Coming up to 4 minutes gone, second half. Nice breeze just blowing around the top tier here of the New York, New Jersey Stadium. Norway playing left to right in the second half. Throw-in level with the edge of the Brazilian penalty area on the right from Riasson. We are wide open to the elements in this stadium. No problem at the moment, but a weak sunshine is starting to appear through the clouds above us. Norway have lost it. That'll be a throw-in to Brazil, which will be taken by the left-back Douglas Santos.
It's quite a subdued start to the second half, really, isn't it? Really surprising when consider how much is on this. I mean, I'm sure it will slowly but surely build as the half goes on. And of course, there is that bit that players don't want to make the mistake that costs their country and sends them out of the World Cup. But slightly subdued start to the second half.
Here's Berg. Plays it back to Muller-Wolfer. Sander Berger inside his own half. Turns. Passes to his right to Christopher Ayer of Brentford, who breathed a huge sigh of relief when Nieland dug him out of a big hole with the Bruno Guimaraes penalty save, because it was not a good challenge. It was ill-advised, it was mistimed, and it definitely caught Mateus Cunha. And how the referee didn't see it in real time, I'm really not too sure, because he seemed to have quite a good view of it. Bob went on a little dribble down the right there. Now he's looking to try and win the ball back, but Brazil have got it to Guimaraes, just outside his own penalty area. Passes back to the hugely experienced Marquinhos. Ball down the right to Ryan. Ryan had to work hard to hold on to that. Danilo, that's not the best ball, high across his own half. Martinelli misses the header. Ødegaard's behind him to collect for Norway. Passes neatly back to Riasson. Ayer quickly on to Berger, and Berger, as soon as he saw Ødegaard coming towards him, just said, right, that's your ball, you get on with it. Ødegaard thought about a dart forward, lays it off to Berger.
He's played well, Ødegaard. Again, if you're talking about Casemiro controlling parts of the game for Brazil, Ødegaard's definitely the player for the Norwegians just now to do that. He picks it up in brilliant areas. If there's a pass on, there's a space on, he's going to find it. Now, we know he's been doing that for Arsenal for a long time, but to be honest, I think he's more comfortable here because he's the main man. There's nobody else to question him. Everything will come through him, and some players just love that, to be the core of it, and he is the core of it just now.
The one I remember late in the season, crucial pass that created the goal late against West Ham. Game Arsenal went on to win, but that was only after Callum Wilson's shot ended up in the back of the net, and there was a long VAR check, and they spotted the foul on the goalkeeper, David Raya. But Ødegaard's intervention at that point in the game, there was no one else that could unlock it like he did to create that goal for Trossard, and that is what Norway are looking for him to do. And he's jogging around looking for space at the moment. Sun is out now. Splashed across the pitch beneath us. Ødegaard turns right on the centre circle. Diagonal pass, sees a bit of space. Schjelderup on the move. Support from Müller-Wölfer on the left. Early cross, nowhere near Haaland. Marquinhos says thank you very much and clears it away first time. And Hegem's ball is loose and goes out for a throw-in to Brazil on the right inside their own half.
I mean, it was almost a game of chess there for such a long time. The Norwegians had the ball, and eventually the pass was played, and of course it was that man Ødegaard who played the pass. It created a little bit of space to go out left. Another terrible cross. I mean, absolutely awful cross. He didn't be the first man again. And again, Haaland just wants somebody to give him the ball.
Here he is, Haaland flicks it to his left-hand side. Schjelderup. Haaland makes a concerted move to get into the middle quickly. Schjelderup is tackled. Brazil start to play out. Casemiro's first-time ball. Martinelli's space to run into, but Bob is quick and catches up with him, which means Martinelli has to stop, turn, play it to his left, but the momentum continues. And Vinicius now glides into view. Step over, takes him away from Bob, knocks it past Rierson. Chance for Brazil, another touchdown by the dead ball line, and it's blocked by Ayer. And that is going to be a corner for Brazil. Ayer claims he knocked it back into the shins of Vinicius, and it should be a goal kick.
Tough one to call, actually. It could have been either way there, and the referee looked at it for a long time and then decided to go for the corner kick. But once again, Vinny Jr., I mean, it does look pretty special when he runs at players. It's that ease, as I say. The first man's a given, absolute given. He's got to go by him. And it was brilliant the way he did, with so little effort.
Pat Nevin, former Scotland international, with us in New Jersey. Corner for Brazil, early stages of the second half. Brazil 0, Norway 0. Waiting for the referee to be satisfied with all the shenanigans inside the penalty area. He is now. Delivery comes from Cunha into the near post, looking for the flick header. Ball is loose inside that Norway penalty area. Marquinhos threw himself at a headed chance at the near post, didn't make contact, and now Norway can bring it away down the left, pass back into the penalty area. Had Hegem running for it, but there was no Brazil player anywhere near him, so passes to Ayer, and now Ødegaard, little back heel here, and Berger just comes jogging forward, ball at his feet. Brazil back off, and this is at a very slow, sedate pace at the moment.
Yes, it is, but you almost blame Brazil more for that, because you expect more from Brazil. They're sitting back and allowing the Norwegians that possession in that midfield area, and it's getting on towards the other 55 minutes gone. If they sleepwalk into going out of the World Cup, the Brazilians, by doing this, then lose a late goal to, say, Haaland, their press will go wild with anger that they didn't seem to have as much of a go as you'd expect them to.
No, in that instance, you cannot imagine the reaction, the furore back home. Ayer, so much possession for Norway in the game. Brazil inside their own half, sitting deep. Ødegaard ball at his feet, passes to his left, across the halfway line to Berger. Berger, one of the many players with the big holes in the back of his dark blue socks. Forward to Bob. Bob spins away from Martinelli. Good run made by Patrick Berg. It's gone wide this time to Schjelderup. Schjelderup on the angle, brings it into the penalty area. Low cross is blocked there. Schjelderup will have another go. Müller-Wölfer is with him and behind him. Tackle is made by Danilo. Last touch comes off the Norwegian. Throw in for Brazil in the right back position. Brazil 0, Norway 0.
But once again, we spend it, it's strange. You expect to spend your whole time talking about Brazil, don't you? And we're not really. We're probably talking a little bit more than about Norway, because they're getting into the better positions. When they get Ødegaard on the ball, it's fantastic. When they get Oscar Bob on the ball, you think, well, something can happen, and it almost always does when he gets on the ball. So you kind of want that. You know, the players you want to see on the ball are obviously Vinicius Jr. He's brilliant when he gets it. But Bob looks great, and Ødegaard looks great, and of course that man Haaland, he's not had a touch yet in the second half. He's not bad as well.
Early change coming for Brazil in the second half. Norway made the double change on the wingers at half-time. Carlo Ancelotti is making his move. We just had a close-up of Woody Harrelson in the stands here. You went to visit the bar, didn't you, Pat, in Boston?
I certainly did. A Cheers fanatic I am.
Well, he's got the baseball cap on. He's enjoying the soccer inside the stadium here in New Jersey.
Well, I didn't like the idea when one of my family says, "Oh, you look like coach in there." Cheers, bar. Oh, thanks.
Norway attacking down the left. Can they get a cross in to try and find Haaland? Now that is Haaland-Gabriel. Look at them. Right next to each other. Little bit of wrestling off the ball. Two giants, one in the red shirt, one in the yellow, waiting for the delivery. And both utterly focused, utterly switched on. Right, change is coming. Matheus Cunha is coming off to be replaced by 19-year-old Endrick, who also came on early, was it half-time? Can't quite remember, in the game against Japan. Certainly involved in the game against Japan. So here he is, belongs to Real Madrid, but was playing on loan at Lyon last season. Comes on with instructions because Ryan is still on the field, Martinelli is still on the field, but Endrick obviously comes on for Cunha and plays in that centre-forward role.
The one thing you will say, they are very young now. That forward line is a very young forward line for Brazil. It's a very talented forward line. You think a forward line that will be brilliant in 4 years' time. It's very good at the moment, a lot of capabilities, but it is very young.
Bob, who's added some zip on the right-hand side for Norway. Ødegaard looking to hit that straight pass to Patrick Berg. Casemiro too clever, intercepts it forward to Vinicius. Lovely trick, beats Ayer. What a pass! And he's through. Endrick. First couple of touches, second one's not good, and he's prodded it wide. Straight onto the pitch, not quite up to the speed of the game. And you wonder, actually, if that had fallen to Matheus Cunha, who'd been on the field since the start, whether that might have ended up in the back of the net. That is a glorious opportunity missed by Brazil.
Yeah, let's go back to the pass, though. It's absolutely beautiful pass outside of the right boot, played into him by, of course, that man Vinicius Junior. And you're right, he's not quite up to the speed of the game. He's got the ball down, he's done the right thing, he's drawn the goalkeeper, and he's just put it agonisingly wide. He thinks he scored it, but it's about a foot past.
So the penalty miss in the first half, the one-on-one miss from Endrick there, the couple of Neelan saves from Vinicius. Norway have never lost to Brazil, 4 games they've played against them. 2 wins, 2 draws, and Brazilian football fans can be superstitious about things like that. They will be concerned, and it's been despite the chances, at times a slightly sort of sleepy performance from the 5 times world champions. It is still 0-0. 5 Live and BBC Sounds as we move towards England's date with destiny in the Azteca tonight on 5 Live. BBC Sounds, pictures available via BBC One if you want the option. Via the BBC iPlayer, you can have those pictures with the 5 Live commentary. Pat Nevin.
Well, the upside of this for England is, who are you afraid of?
Long ball down the middle. Haaland trying to get away from Gabriel. The ball comes off Gabriel's back, so it's worked again for Norway here. Berg passes to his right to Bob. Bob senses an opportunity, tries to dart through a tight gap there. That gap closes, and Brazil are able to bring it away down the left with Santos. Plays a ball into midfield. Martinelli takes a touch. Passes to his right to Danilo. Danilo straight up to Endrick. First time ball looking for Guimarães. Ayer gets a foot on it. Played straight through the middle again. Endrick is able to control. Good touch. Brings it forward up to the edge of the area. That's ambitious. Deflection on the shot, and it comes off Hegem and goes behind for a Brazil corner.
He was winding that shot up from about 6 yards before. You can see a mile away he was going to do. And they never actually looked on, though. But he's got a corner kick, so he'll be delighted with that. I mean, they've obviously got Marquinhos and Gabriel that come up, but you wonder if Brazil should maybe take 1 or 2 short corner kicks just to drag players out a little bit. But it's lifted a wee bit, lifted the fans. Endrick coming on. He was obviously a popular change, a very popular change with the Brazil fans.
Well, at the age of 19, he does have 8 goals for Brazil. I remember when he scored against England at Wembley to win a game a couple of years ago. So great chance to put Brazil in front here, couldn't take it. First couple of touches of the game for him. Corner comes in from Guimarães, stretching his knee land, punches it away. Bob with the header. Ball falls at the feet here of Douglas Santos. Not quite sure what to do, given time. Killed in towards Gabriel, nods it down. Ryan hits it. Neelan nearly fooled by that. Gets down, was moving to his left, slaps it away with his right hand. Looked like it nearly wrong-footed impact.
Yeah, I mean, but in the end you have to make it. You know, there are possibly players in front of him as well. He's taking it very early, taking it on the half volley, and he's got real power in it. And goalkeepers will always tell you the same thing. As long as you keep it out, get it away from the goal, which he did get away from the goal with a strong arm. But his little step up, that Endrick change has made a difference. They've lifted the pace just that little bit.
Into the last half hour of the game. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. The 24-hour World Cup station. Vinicius speeding away down the left. Beats Rierson, of course he does. Beats another man, that's Bob, who came back to try and help. Passes back to Casemiro. Casemiro 25 yards out. Goes for the cross to the far post. Ryan nods it down. Guimaraes, what a save! Nyland off his line so quickly. Read the danger. Races out. Makes the block. It wouldn't have counted. The offside flag is up. I can calm down.
Yeah, well, to be honest, it was tight. It's one of those ones I want to see it again. I wasn't convinced. Oh, he is just offside, yeah. The assistant referee spotted that right. But what a brilliant save. It reminded me of the exact same move Kennedy was scoring against the Dutch 1978 World Cup. There you go. Exactly the same move. The thing is, Kenny put it in the top corner. This time he saved it.
And there we go, Pat. Slight deflection on that shot that came in from Ryan, which nearly fooled Nyland. Nyland's having a really good game, isn't he, for Norway?
He has. He's been super. He's not put a foot or a hand wrong. But on top of that, you look... They mentioned just, 7 or 8 minutes ago, are the Brazilians sleepwalking into this? Well, it looks as if they were. Since they've said that line, they've made that change. They look a different team now.
Yeah.
They're on the front foot. They're asking a lot more questions. I think they seem to have come alive to the idea of this dream could be over. It could be over in 25 minutes' time.
Carlo Ancelotti teams very often find a way. Rierson's come off to be replaced by Auersness. So Julian Rierson, who returned today, having gone off in the second game with a hamstring injury, he is off, and Fredrik Auersness, midfielder, will take his place at right back because Marcus Holmgren Pedersen is missing this game with illness. Haaland stretches to try and control the ball, edge of the Brazil box. Guimaraes volleys it away. Berger is there first for Norway. And this game could go any which way because the better chances have definitely fallen to Brazil, but Norway look very, very capable, and they do have a fella out there, 6'5" centre forward called Erling Haaland, who, as he showed us in the last round, doesn't need many touches in a game. Just give him the one chance and he'll stick it away.
Well, the other thing is, he's hardly had any touches in the second half at all, just like the first half, and then he had a little couple of flashes at the end. But in reality, he looks sharp, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He looks very up for it, very, very sharp. When he comes alive, he is seriously desperate and seems capable and seems likely to do it.
Auersness on the ball early on for Norway, into the feet of Ødegaard. Ødegaard just pushes it back to Patrick Berg, who comes sprinting across the Brazilian half from right to left. Passes to the left-back Müller-Wölfe. Wide it goes here to Schjelderup. Schjelderup to Hegem, the centre-back, who's quite well forward inside the Brazilian half here. Receives it again, plays it down the inside left channel. Wide it goes to Schjelderup, crossing with his right foot. Alisson stretched. Oh, that so nearly came to Haaland. Alisson got a touch, just fell behind Haaland. Gabriel was in close by as well, and Brazil breathed a massive sigh of relief.
Right, so how many corners have you counted they've actually beaten the first man today? They've beat the first man. It caused mayhem in there, utter mayhem. They must do it more often, the Norwegians, if they're going to get anything out of this strange piece of goalkeeping. Haaland, Alisson, you'd expect them to do a little bit better than that.
20 minutes gone in the second half. Still Brazil 0, Norway 0. Ødegaard comes across to take the corner on our side of the field, high above the action here in his red shirt, with all those thousands of red-shirted fans lined up in a steep slope behind that goal. Ødegaard's delivery, in it comes, headed away. Chased out to the left wing by Schjelderup, who beats Guimaraes to the ball, finds Bob. Bob back to Schjelderup. Looks promising for Norway, this on the left-hand side. A little bit of chaos and confusion from the two wingers. Bob again. Bob back to Schjelderup. Wide it goes. Bob is able to let the ball run across his body. Pokes a clever pass into the penalty area. Ayers ball. Haaland stretches, looking for the touch at the far post. Couldn't quite get there. The angle would have been really difficult to get that on target, but a better cross again from Norway.
Yeah, and just at the moment, you do not want a drinks break, and we're going to get one now. Just when the game was livening up, the Brazilians were playing a little bit better. Great reaction, from the Norwegians there. A couple of real good chances, and even as you've seen from the big screens there, Leo DiCaprio got very excited. Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Woody Harrelson. I'm told Tobey Maguire is in the house. Jay-Z apparently as well.
Yeah, we saw him earlier, yeah.
So double change coming for Brazil. Martinelli's coming off. Neymar is coming on. Cue the excited reaction from the yellow-shirted fans all around us. I look to my right at our colleagues on Brazilian radio who are reporting that news back to their listeners as well. And the other change, I think Danilo Santos came on as well. And here come the changes on the big screen. He is on for Ryan. So day 7 of Wimbledon, news here, world number 1 Jannik Sinner has beaten the Japanese qualifier. OK, Russell, thank you, Sports Extra, for your continued coverage of Wimbledon. So Neymar on for Martinelli and Danilo Santos on for Ryan. He's a 25-year-old who plays his club football for Botafogo in Brazil, winning only his 8th cap. But you might know him from 2.5 seasons at Nottingham Forest, where he made 62 appearances and scored 6 goals. So let's see how the drinks break affects things, because we are just over 20 minutes away from extra time here in New Jersey. Missed penalty for Brazil in the first half. There is Danilo Santos. So we've got Danilo, former Manchester City man, at right back. Danilo Santos now. And here's Neymar, Brazil's record goal scorer, 2nd appearance at the tournament. And Carlo Ancelotti seeing if he's got a little bit of magic to unlock this Norwegian defence.
Yeah, he's come on in. It's kind of wild hope. You know, he's been injured for so long, but we know the qualities he's had as a player in the past. It's whether he still has these qualities at the moment, but certainly as a figure that the Brazilians can get behind, there is no doubt about that. Danilo Santos has come on just by his movement. He looks really decent. He looks as somebody you have to keep a hold of. He's not come on and being a little bit shy about it. He's very, very lively, very quick across the ground.
I am happy to bring the ball forward for Norway. There is Danilo Santos, intercepts it, passes forward. Bob is strong in the challenge. Chance for Norway. Ødegaard moving forward. Haaland to his left-hand side. Good first touch from Haaland onto the right foot. Yellow shirts close around him. Ødegaard, a little bit of tricky dribbling inside the penalty area. Still going. And eventually that yellow wall closes up on him, makes the block. And Brazil are able to get that ball away down into the Norwegian half, where Hegem controls. 25 minutes gone in this second half and still no goals. Brazil 0, Norway 0.
And again, it's not as if Norway are holding on. Doesn't feel anything like that at all. Yeah, Brazil have got some quality going forward when they break, but there's nothing between these two teams. There's not been a huge amount of chances in this game. No one wants to take too many risks, particularly at the back. But I would say shading it is probably Norway. Probably more with possession than anything else. But at the moment, it's a tough one to call.
On the roll call of celebrities, I'm told that Radio 1's Greg James is inside the stadium watching as well, yet to appear on our big screen. Guest at the Taylor Swift wedding. Apparently, Pat, we were walking past Madison Square Garden only the other day before the big event. There wasn't a massive amount going on, just lots of railings, security guards, big trucks, and you couldn't really see very much as the ball is played down the right here towards Oscar Bob. Let's concentrate on the World Cup football. Vinicius's ball, looking for Neymar in the middle. Certainly back Neymar to score a penalty if another one comes Brazil's way. Ødegaard flicks it up in the air. Guimarães making a nuisance of himself, catches Berg in the face accidentally. Norway get the free kick. Another shot of Leonardo DiCaprio. I certainly recognise. Oh, and Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, in front of him as well.
Yeah, Leo, don't look at your phone, mate. There's a game going on.
Black cap, dark shades, intent on his... he'll be posting, Pat. He'll be posting something to his millions of followers.
So why do you wear black glasses, black cap, shrink down in your seat, but still want to be noticed? Which he does.
Ødegaard's on the ball for Norway. Mexico, England on the way in the early hours, UK time, Monday morning. Very slow again here. Sander Berge still as a statue on the halfway line. Then he gets the ball moving. Forward it goes. Haaland can't get to that. Danilo Santos back to Douglas Santos, who nearly lost it. Some good work to keep it. Good first touch from Neymar. Neymar in the bright yellow boots to match that Brazilian yellow shirt. Feeds it to Vinicius Junior. Rolls it across the face of the penalty area. Casemiro lays it off. Guimarães pass out to the right-hand side. Cross comes in. Blocked by Müller-Wolfer. Brazilian danger everywhere here. Casemiro's cross hits a Norwegian defender and it's cleared away. That was Schjelderup. There's the physical battle between Haaland and Gabriel. Gabriel pokes the ball away, but only as far as Ødegaard, and Norway come pouring forward. Auersness offering Bob support. Bob goes infield to Ødegaard. Can he get there? Flicks it to Haaland. Good chance coming here. Schjelderup on the ball inside the penalty. Shoots Alisson down to his right and makes the save. Great counter-attacking football from Norway, and Alisson is first serious, no, in fact second, really good save of the game.
Yeah, but by some distance the best move that Norway have put together here, and it does look better when you get Bob on the ball. When you get the three players that we know, we'll talk about more than anyone else, they are the best players, and Haaland there did the right thing. It doesn't go for goal himself. Bob created it with his pace coming forward, but it's definitely that man Ødegaard. He is everywhere just now. His energy has been fantastic, but his picking of passes has been perfect.
And that came again from a ball up to Haaland. Gabriel managed to win the ball, but he could only give it to Ødegaard. It created the opportunity.
It created the chaos. That's what you want to do, create chaos in that situation. And to keep on saying, just head it up in that vague area and then get round it, because the ball's coming off.
Brazil 0, Norway 0. Norway trying to reach a World Cup quarter-final for the first time in their history against a mighty Brazil. Here's Bob, inside left channel. Passes back to Hegem. The other Alisson save came late in the first half. It was an Ødegaard low rocket, and he just got down in time to prevent it ending up in the back of the net. Schjelderup looking dangerous on the left. Cut back from Müller-Wolfer, blocked by Marquinhos, who is able to keep this ball in play and stop it going out for a corner. Clearance downfield. Müller-Wolfer ducked underneath it. It ran to Ayer. 80,663, it says on the big screen inside the stadium. And in big white block capitals above that, full house.
I think that's an absolute given, this game, considering what the tickets were going for Brazilian fans. But they haven't got a game that's been absolutely on fire for all of it, but there's been enough excitement, enough interest, enough intrigue, but certainly now plenty of jeopardy. We're going into the last 15 minutes and we have no idea just now. And again, I think Norway just have the upper hand at the moment.
World Cup final in this stadium in 2 weeks' time. So much thrilling football on the way before that here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Not least Mexico, England getting closer and closer. in the Azteca Stadium tonight. So straight after this game, we will start our build-up to that one. Here's Sander Berge for Norway. And don't forget, the winners of this one meet the winners of that one in Miami on Friday. 10 p.m. kickoff UK time. Auersnes passes back here to Torbjorn Hegem, the Bologna centre-back, who turns and plays back to his goalkeeper Nyland, who's been unemployed for the last 10 minutes or so. Left-footed drill ball down the middle of the pitch, looking to cause chaos again. This one might reach Haaland via a deflection. Haaland tries to back into Gabriel, lost his balance, falls over, and Danilo is able to sort of stumble backwards, clear it away, throwing.
But it's
for
still
Norway.
panic stations all around, isn't it? Absolute panic stations all around. They're lashing the ball out. Norway got a throw for it. There is no effort in that. It's just lump it in that general direction. And you know why they're panicked. You absolutely do, because you can tell that every time he goes within 10 yards of him, he looks bordering on unstoppable, Erling Haaland. There are chances to be had for Norway just by doing that time and again.
Just wants that one chance. The chance came late against the Ivory Coast in the last 32. He nearly made a mess of that one, but it ended up in the back of the net. Oscar Bob about to take a throw, but Brazil are going to make another change. So this is Ederson coming on. Could potentially be joining Manchester United for next season, and he will replace Bruno Guimaraes in central midfield. It has not been Bruno Guimaraes' afternoon. He's been an important player for Brazil at this World Cup. 4 assists in the tournament so far, but when the moment came in the first half, the 14th minute, from the penalty spot, he was not able to find the back of the net. Will Brazil come to rue that? And will Norway maintain their unbeaten record, the only nation in history never to lose a game of football, men's senior level, against Brazil? And they're looking for the win here, Norway. They're looking more and more positive. Sjelderup's got the beating of a man. Cross comes in, looking for Haaland! There you go! One chance, one goal, and Norway could be heading to the quarterfinals of the World Cup for the first time in their history, and Brazil could be on their way out. They found the big man in the middle, and there he was, downward header. Alisson has no chance. Brazil 0, Norway 1, the Vikings roar.
Well done, Norway. They've been the better side in the second half, slowly, surely building into it. But the changes they made at the half-time, that was a problem. They weren't getting the crosses in from the wide men. Moaned about it, and I did moan about the whole first half, and I'm sure Erling Haaland did as well. They made the changes, and it's that way of coming in from the left-hand side. Doesn't do anything particularly special, because you don't need to do anything special with Haaland. Get it into the danger area, he'll do the rest. Exceptional finish. As you say, one chance, one goal.
There we go, let's watch it again on our replay monitor. Sjelderup just found him. Haaland had the run, got in the space, 6 yards out. He's a giant, and all he needed was to get it down with the power. And Alisson sent scrambling to his left, couldn't keep it out. Now, Pat Nevin, and look at my stopwatch. 11 minutes plus added time remaining, so I reckon we've got probably close to 20 minutes here. Quite interesting in the goal celebration. The entire Norwegian team got there. It turned into a team meeting in a huddle.
Well, there's lots of psychological reasons for doing that. One, you add to the pain of the opposition by showing them your celebrations, your togetherness. So it's kind of deliberate. It's worked on beforehand. However, we now have those 11-20 minutes of real Brazil, because we will see real Brazil now. They've got to go for it.
Yeah, not been knocked out at this stage of the competition since Italia 90, when Claudio Canigia's goal in Turin saw Argentina beat them by a goal to 0. Brazil are desperate now. 1-0 down against Norway, playing for a place in the quarter-final where they will meet the winners of Mexico or England. Space possibly opening up for Haaland, causing mayhem at the back again for Brazil. Marquinhos just about deals with him this time. Plays a pass down the line. Marquinhos into midfield. Danilo Santos, good footwork. Referee's given a free kick for a challenge on Marquinhos, and Brazil have got to go quickly now.
Oh, they are. Every single pass is played quickly. They've got so many players up, and this is Brazil in the I have no idea what formation you're playing formation, which is what we kind of love. They're everywhere. They're just going to pass it, move it, try and get the ball forward to their attack-minded players. They need to get Vinicius Junior on the ball. There's other good players out there, but he's the one that can cause that chaos and go past players, and he's got the ball now.
The Norway curse for Brazil could continue. Vinicius trying to get outside Auersnes. Bob is back there, makes the tackle. It goes behind for the corner. Neymar comes sprinting across as quick as he can for Brazil. All the yellow shirts, apart from Alisson, go forward. on the verge of going out of the World Cup, on the verge of losing to a European team in a knockout game once again. But there is still time for them to rescue themselves. They've had their chances. Endrick missed a great one in the second half. Bruno Guimaraes in the first half saw his penalty saved. Now the corner to be taken by Neymar. The referee says that ball is not touching the line. Neymar moves that all of a millimetre, and the referee now seems to be happy with that. What can Neymar conjure up with the set piece? In it comes, headed high and over the bar. That was a Norwegian defender who got their head to the ball. Ayer was the man. He was challenging Gabriel. It's gone behind for another corner.
He thought about going down there, saying he was injured to waste time, then realised he can't get away with that anymore.
Another corner for Brazil. The pressure is on. You know exactly the reaction that will come if they go out of the World Cup at this stage. Neymar's delivery into the near post, looking to creep in. Auersnes was there, guarding it for Norway, and heads the ball away. This will be one of the greatest results in Norway's footballing history if they can pull it off. Another cross into their penalty area, headed out only as far as Neymar, just outside the box on the left. Chest sit down. Norwegian defenders under his spell. Neymar, little chop onto the left foot, back onto the right foot. No way through there. Berg is in the way, slides in and clears the ball away with his right foot, and Bob will chase it, but he won't get there, and there's a lot of Brazilian pressure building now on the Norwegian defence. Vinicius goes skating past Bob. Bob's taken the ball off him. Vinicius down, not going to get a free kick for that. Could Norway kill it here? Schjelderup. The second half sub is on, wide on the left. 4-on-4 this at the moment. Schjelderup finds Bob, edge of the Brazilian penalty area. Support from Berg behind him. They've slowed it down for now. I'm looking for Erling Haaland.
No, he was the deepest man in the whole Norwegian team. He was he's behind his centre-backs there. He's exhausted. He couldn't get up, and because of that, it's died out. It's totally died out. Had he been up there, that was a chance, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was back there defending the set piece, and he couldn't get forward in time. Back at walking pace in the centre-forward position. Almost puts his hand up apologetically to his teammates there. He knows the opportunity that was, but 85th minute of the game already, and Brazil in real danger here of going out in the last 16. Carlo Ancelotti brought in at great expense to try and win them their 6th World Cup. They have had the chances this afternoon, but this is going Norway's way at the moment. Nyland clears with his left foot, looking for Haaland up the middle of the pitch. Marquinhos heads it away. Ayer stoops, nods the ball towards Berg. Marquinhos is there. Scissor volley from him back into his own half. Danilo turns and collects. Can Norway keep their calm, keep their composure, keep their shape?
Well, they're trying to keep the shape, though, but the problem the Brazilians have got, they want to get Neymar on the ball, they want to get Vinicius Jr. on the ball. They're both playing exactly the same position. They're both playing general on the left-hand side. They're kind of killing each other's space a wee bit at the moment.
Ball into the edge of the penalty. Oh, it's going to look Nyland. Oh, Nyland, that's an incredible save. He's saved Norway again, backpedaling, stuck out a desperate left arm. There was a big deflection on the effort on the edge of the penalty area. It looked like it was lobbing over him and into the corner of the net, and somehow he got a couple of fingers to it, and he's guided it onto the post. Another cross comes into the box, headed away by Ayer. Here come Brazil again. Vinicius able to control the ball on the corner of the area. Pass now into Casemiro. Casemiro's crossed too hard, right across the face of goal. Brazilian teammates looking at him and saying a better ball there, and Neymar was in with an open goal in front of him.
Well, it was just a tap in the back post, and he fired. He's absolutely launched it across there. Instead of playing, I actually think he's going for a shot. He's going for a shot instead of cutting it back. Neymar, as you say, and there was someone else, it may have been Vinny Jr. as well, was in there waiting for a tap-in. That's a big chance, and by the way, what a save for Ireland. He had no right to get to that. He had no right whatsoever. It was a deflection, a definite own goal. And it wasn't deliberate. It just happened. It was a deflection off him. He's going the wrong way. It's miles over his head, and somehow all those hours of training that the goalkeepers do, you know, getting up off their backsides when they're down the line, doing it hour after hour after hour. But all the years of that paid off in that moment.
Took a bang on the side of the face. He's just recovering from that. It may have been just in the fall from the save, but I mean that was better than the penalty save. Really, it was more unlikely than the penalty save.
I mean, the two brilliant chances there. Casemiro should have done better getting it across back there instead of having a shot from us, and a very, very acute angle.
87th minute of the game, and Norway lead through Erling Haaland's 6th goal in the tournament, and possibly they come looking for a second, and surely that will be that for Brazil. Ødegaard they've had a confidence and a swagger about them, Norway, all throughout this game. Neelan's been brilliant for them, yes, between the sticks, but they know that Brazil are vulnerable. And here's Ødegaard, edge of their penalty area, and they're knocking the ball around calmly and coolly. And Brazilian fans at the moment have gone quiet. Bob speeding into the box. Ødegaard tries to find him. Ball falls to Ødegaard's feet. Works it onto his right foot. Hits the shot. Sliding block from Douglas Santos. It goes behind for a Norwegian corner.
Yeah, Oscar Bob's a bit of the Brazilian about him as well, isn't it? With the skills there. Brilliant little dribble there. And because they've got the great understanding that he will have with Ødegaard there. Little back heel from Hammond and nearly made it in for a goal. So, yeah, Brazil have had 1 or 2 chances. But then again, so have the Norwegians. They've got in some great positions.
You can see Jan Nyland, Norway's goalkeeper, is over by the bench at the moment, just taking some fluid on board and just getting the side of his head checked out. They've taken the corner short, though. Nyland's got to get back in position. Ødegaard plays it back to Auersnes. And I keep looking at that stopwatch, and we're about to tick over into the 89th minute of the game. So Norway on the verge of one of the greatest results in their history here in New Jersey against Brazil, the 5 times world champions.
Does that feel as if it's ticking away quickly to you? Because
Really
I can tell you,
does.
it doesn't feel like it to the Norwegian fans.
No.
It's an eternity every time you have mentioned it.
Yeah, we know what's coming. If they win the game, we'll be looking eyes right to that thin block in the lower tier behind that goal away to our right, and the celebration in harmony with the players. Martin Ødegaard will call for the drum. They will get into longboat formation, and you will hear those Vikings roar. But Brazil still have a chance in the game. Neymar's on the ball, curls it out to Vinicius, and Vinicius heads down the left-hand side. Auersnes in with the challenge. Last touch came off the Brazilian. Goal kick for Norway.
I would say that's the first time just about in the entirety of the game that Vinicius Junior's got the ball, tried to take on a player and failed to get by the player, the first player that attacked him. And maybe he's getting a little bit tired, you know, he's got to take that in as well, and he's got Auersnes, who you have to say, third choice right back. He's not done a bad job back there, has he?
Great job. Here's Schjelderup on the left-hand side for Norway. He might have Haaland to aim at this time. Haaland, edge of the box, takes a touch with his right foot, hits it with his left. That is brilliant. That is game over. Norway are through to the quarter-finals, and Erling Haaland has just arrowed that into the bottom corner to give Norway one of the greatest results in their footballing history. There is nothing you can do about that. We have witnessed something very, very special here. They have played brilliantly as a team, but when you have a world-class striker like that, you can do anything, and they are going to be dangerous in the rest of this tournament. Brazil are heading out. Brazil 0, Norway 2.
Well, sometimes you're in a stadium and you think, this, you don't see that anywhere else. You don't see any other player doing that. There was not a chance on there. There's no chance. That's not a half chance. That's not a quarter chance. That's nothing. That's away at the corner of the box, miles out. You're against a world-class goalkeeper. The angle's all against you. Bang! Right in the corner. Keeper doesn't get a sniff. What a goal that is. And the entire Norwegian bench has gone on and celebrated it. And by the way, Arsenal's not within 2 yards of it. He's actually got a bit of a cheek to try and dive at that one. Yeah, it's gone through legs. That's what happens with these goals. But what a hit. Fabulous.
Bang is exactly right. 27 goals in his last 14 internationals. 62 for his country in 54 caps. None more important than these goals tonight. And it's been classic Haaland. Hasn't really been in the game. There hasn't been great service to him. That goal he made out of nothing, really. The cross for the header was absolutely brilliant. But it's all he needs, Pat.
Yeah. I think the thing is, he's held himself really well in this game. He's got lots of energy, but he just keeps it. He keeps it for when he needs it all the time. The best players do that. And now the hairband's gone, the hair's down. He is now thinking, I am going to make sure nothing weird happens here. I'm going to chase everything. He'll be back at centre half in a minute to make sure this is not ruined, this is not spoiled.
Erling Haaland, hair down, running loose, running free. Neeland, brilliant in goal for Norway. The penalty save from Bruno Guimaraes. But the big number 9, now level, of course, with Messi and Mbappe on 7 goals in the tournament. And that left-footed strike is going to live with me and those fans, those Norwegian fans, right behind the goal for a very long time indeed. This Brazilian team isn't the same as some of previous vintage, but I tell you what, beating Brazil in a knockout game at the World Cup if you're Norway, that is a an enormous achievement. Cross comes into the Norwegian penalty area. Can they keep the clean sheet? Into added time at the end of the game. Vinicius's ball to Danilo Santos. He can't do anything with that. Up it comes to Haaland here. He'll, of course, fancy a World Cup hat-trick if the chances come. Patrick Berg has it inside his own half, waiting to see how much added time we've got. Now, as Haaland hasn't got the energy here. Berg is running away
7
down
minutes,
the
but a couple have gone, haven't they?
Yeah.
They were very late in putting that up there, but you know, you just don't take anything for granted. Football's weird that way. Strange things can happen. If they lose a goal just now, the Norwegians will be panic-stricken. They've also just about to lose a player. I'm struggling, just trying to see who that is there. It's Mola Wolf. He's struggling to move at all on the right-hand side, and the left-hand side there at left back. He needs his winger to come back and help him.
Brazil have 4.5 minutes to score 2 goals and save their World Cup. Otherwise, big questions to answer. You can only imagine what the atmosphere is like in the restaurants, in the bars, in the homes back in Brazil. Cross into the Norwegian penalty area beyond everyone. Auersness there at right back, happy to give it the heave-ho and thump it.
They've got to make that change. They're playing with 10 men just now. You cannot play with 10 men against Brazil with one of your... I mean, I'm pretty sure he's pulled his hamstring right at the back post there, Miller Wolf. They need him off. They need that ball out. Do you know what? Somebody, just go and foul.
Yeah.
Just go and make a foul. That's what you need to do just now.
Norway need the ball out of play. Brazil need 2 goals in double quick time. In the sunshine here in New Jersey. Norway heading towards a famous World Cup win, heading towards the quarterfinals for the first time in their history. And Brazil desperately trying to do something about it. Vinicius Jr. across to Neymar. Neymar moving across the face of the penalty area. Feeds it here to his right. That shot is hit by Ederson. Now the ball is passed to Danilo Santos. A stretch, a poor touch, and away it gets from him. Behind it goes for a goal kick, and Norway are getting closer and closer and closer. So if it is they, and it looks like it will be they, who get through to the quarterfinal in Miami on Friday, Mexico, England to come. Our build-up, big build-up starts to that straight after this game. 1 o'clock UK time, full commentary on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. It will be Norway against Mexico or England, and then in the bottom quarter of that side of the draw, Argentina, Egypt, Switzerland and Colombia. Argentina, Egypt tomorrow at 5, Switzerland, Colombia at 9. That is how the draw is shaping up for all these teams. Haaland, what a great leap, what a flick on into the penalty area. Sjelderup chases it, ball is cleared away from him. Brazilians just feel and look like fans and players they've completely lost belief here. The game is up. There is very little time for them left. 2.5 minutes to go. Norway have the ball. They've got Brazil where they want them. Ødegaard toying with defenders there. Oscar Bob passes back to the corner of the box. Ødegaard receives the ball. Norway playing like Brazil of old in a way.
It's just a wee bit easy to do that when you're 2-0 up.
Yeah.
They're back up to 10 men, 11 men now. Ødegaard's come on.
Oh, what a run. Sander Berger, right-hand side. Can he find Haaland? Ball comes into the penalty area, takes a deflection, volleyed away at the near post. Vinicius is back doing some defending. 2 minutes to go in the game. But this is Norway attacking. Norway 2-0 up on Brazil. Dazzling dribbling from Bob. Comes to the right to Ødegaard. He's fouled by Neymar. Neymar raging against the dying of the light, commits the foul, receives a yellow card. Ødegaard roars with delight because he knows that the job is done. They're knocking Brazil out of the World Cup.
Yeah, it's just that moment of you need to hold it just a little bit longer. You know that if they break, last minute, extra injury time, all that sort of thing. But when he was kicked there and he goes down, you're going to wait another 30 seconds. That's it. Deal done. And at this point in time, there's only one question left for me. Is it going to be a hat-trick for Haaland? I doubt it, though, because I don't think they're interested in getting the ball in there.
Any guesses who's getting superior player of the match, Pat?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt whatsoever. Although it's quite harsh on Nyland.
Yeah, Nyland.
Yeah, it's quite harsh on Ødegaard as well. But there isn't even a smidgen of doubt.
At 1-0, Nyland's save, backpedaling from what would have been a disastrous own goal was quite incredible. Norway go down, you know, that's football, down the other end. Haaland's there, scores a very improbable strike, and here we are on the brink of history for Norway, and it'll be a 5th game against Brazil without losing it, now pushing and shoving. Brazil are losing the plot here. Ødegaard gets a couple in the chest. I think they feel he was sort of taking the mick, trying to run the game down and sort of showing off. I don't think he was there, really. I just think Brazil realise they're on their way out of the World Cup, and they've lost their rag.
Yeah, massive frustration. Touch of embarrassment as well. I know what it's like when Brazilians come back to Brazil now. They won't want to go back. The stick that a lot of them are going to get, the anger that's going to come out of the Brazilian press, the Brazilian people, and more than anger, sadness as well on top of that. I mean, to get beat by, say, France, you know, Argentina or whatever, they'll hate it, but they understand it. Norway, they're not going to accept that.
First time in 9 World Cups that Brazil will go out in the last 16. Last time was at Italia 90. Last time they won it was in 2002. Here against Norway, defied by Nyland, undone by Haaland, and Norway's team performance has been absolutely exceptional. Came with a plan and have executed it perfectly. And the double substitution as well at half-time, bringing Bob and Schjelder upon, has made a real difference. Brazil get a late free kick, shoving the back there on Casemiro, but surely it is too late. 7 minutes of added time are up. They need 2 goals. They might score 1. Norway are going through here.
They are going through, and I don't think many people will say they don't deserve it for what the effort they've put in, the organisation.
Here's the free kick up to the edge of the area. Norway still battling for every ball. Arm in the head inside the penalty area. Is the ref given a penalty then?
I have a horrible feeling he has.
He has. What a strange end to the game here. Norway 2-0 up. That was an aerial challenge in the box. The referee had a good view of it, and he is claiming there is an elbow that has gone into the side of Casemiro's face from Leo Ostigard, who is on as the Norwegian sub, and the ref says that is a penalty.
It's not deliberate, but he's led with his elbow and he's caught him in the side of the face. The referee's absolutely within his rights to give a penalty kick there.
Nyland is holding on to the ball. The Brazilians are trying to get it off him. I mean, there's no time left in this game. This is the last kick of the game, but there's needle and there's niggle, and Norway are on the verge of something very special. And I tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if Nyland saves it.
That's the way the game's going. That's the way it would be. They try to kill as much time. The clock says 8:37, 8:38. The penalty kick won't be taken before 9 minutes. 9 minutes of the 7 to play.
Yeah.
So, you know, even if it's a goal and they start again, you're talking 10, 11 minutes, 10 and a half probably. The referee can't add anything.
We think almost the entire population of Norway are watching this back home. The Norwegian fans inside this stadium will never forget today. We can see them. The bright red shirts all the way to our right. Would love Nyland to save the penalty. It won't matter. I think
big moment for Neymar, though.
Big moment for Neymar. Yeah. Big moment for Brazil's big name. And actually, there was some shouting, a slanging match there between Nyland. It continues. Look at Neymar. Neymar and Nyland are at each other here. Some proper sledging. 12 yards between them. Here comes the moment. Theatrical from Neymar. Brazil are heading out of the World Cup, but can he find the back of the net? Straight run to the ball, right from the edge of the box. The whistle has blown. He's delayed for ages. Now he moves to his left. Real drama here. Neymar stutters in the run-up and scores for Brazil. Nyland finally has to turn and pick the ball out of his net. Neymar comes and gives him a volley of abuse in his face, which is very unwise. But Norway lead Brazil 2-1. Brazil race with the ball back to the centre circle. It's not going to make a jot of difference. Norway are winning this game.
Well, you would expect so, but if there is one more attack, if the referee allows one more attack, remember, it is a World Cup. It is Brazil. You never know. He might be allowed one more attack. By the way, that was the most reserved goal that I've ever heard in my life.
Norway heading to the quarter-final, which is on Saturday in Miami. I beg your pardon, I think I said Friday. Saturday, 10 o'clock. Could be Mexico, could be England. Commentary of that game on the way.
I think Haaland's going to shoot here.
Norway waiting to kick the game off. Strange ending to the game. Neymar has scored the penalty. His 9th World Cup goal, his first of the tournament. Referee is now chatting to Ødegaard and Marquinhos, the two captains.
It's like a cricket lineup. You know, the ball's on the lines. It slips miles away back there.
And there we go. Oh, no, there we don't go. The referee, I thought we kicked off. I thought he'd blown the full-time whistle. What is going on here?
They're all confused down there.
Norwegian fans were ready to celebrate. We're going to kick the game off again. We have played 11 minutes of the 7 minutes of added time. The ball comes back to Ørjan Nyland. He hits it first time. It goes spinning high in the air. Norway need to win this ball. Surely Brazil can't find themselves an equaliser. Neymar inside his own half. Ayers down on the floor, diving header away. Where's this time come from in the game? Casemiro's cross and Nyland. Millions of Norwegians will roar watching that. as he comes racing forward to the edge of his box, catches the ball and gets ready to deliver it downfield. And the referee says we're going to keep playing here. He's had another look at his watch. It's aimed at Haaland on a World Cup hat-trick. Norway leading Brazil 2-1. And finally, the full-time whistle blows. And we have witnessed something quite incredible in New Jersey this afternoon, because Norway have beaten the 5 times champions Brazil. Erling Haaland with a header and a deadly powerful strike into the bottom corner in the second half have dumped Brazil out of the World Cup in the last 16. We know the reaction there will be to that. The Brazilian fans all around us look absolutely stunned and dismayed, and we will get the Viking roar, the Viking row inside this stadium once again. That is one of the greatest results in Norway's footballing history. They've knocked Brazil out of the World Cup. They are through to the quarterfinals. They've beaten them by 2-1. How about that, Pat Nevin?
Well, I think they deserve it as well. And a lot more of the ball. Brazil played, and a very kind of, they held back too much. They were playing in the break. They expected it to come with those breaks. But if you do that, you take a chance, because, eventually the Norwegians will get the odd chance. They will get the long ball. They make the right decisions. They bring on the wingers that we were shouting about at half-time to bring on. They finally do that and get a ball into Haaland. You only need one in, and he got one in. And what a header that was. He headed the ball harder than most of us kicked the ball. It's been absolutely incredible, that happening there. But the real one, the second goal, that's astonishing. That is... You don't even think, I know it's Haaland, and I know he's extra special, and he's actually very emotional just now himself, But even for Erling Haaland, you think, you can't shoot from there. It's not on. And he pings it into that bottom corner.
I've just seen the photo that everyone will want in Norway. The 2 Norwegian heroes today, and I know there's more than 2 of them, but involved in the key moments in the game, Haaland and Nyland. The goalkeeper in green, Haaland in his red Norwegian shirt, in a huge hug, a massive embrace, celebrating a famous win. And the Brazilian players down there in the yellow shirts do not know what to do with themselves. They have not beaten a European team in a knockout game since they won the 2002 World Cup against Germany. 4 quarter-final exits against France, the Netherlands, Belgium and Croatia. That disastrous semi-final in Belo Horizonte when they hosted the World Cup and lost 7-1 to Germany. And now add this one to the list. Norway have knocked them out of the World Cup in the last 16. They are through to the quarterfinals. There are some celebrations to come, and I don't think Mexico or England will really fancy playing Norway too much, because they were exceptional this afternoon. It is finished here. Brazil 1, Norway 2.
And the camera is following Erling Haaland around the MetLife Stadium, which is understandable, but Ali made the point, Pat, of the photo of Haaland and Nyland embracing. I know Haaland's got the superior player,
obviously,
but they wouldn't be in the last 8 if it wasn't for their goalkeeper.
Yeah, and obviously if you save a penalty, that's one big thing. Keepers absolutely love that. It wasn't a great penalty kick, but he managed to save it. He went the right way, didn't go too early. So that was one. There were other saves that he made during the game, but the one that will stick in the mind is we're in an angle, it's a perfect angle to see it. It's looping up over him. Oh, look at Ali. Did you think it was going in?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I never thought for a second that was going to be saved.
No.
And it is one of those ones where you're in the right angle to see it and think, right, all the angles say he's never getting there. And he gets there.
And do you know what's really interesting as well, Mark? I mean, every single player here at the tournament has a story, but Ørjan Nyland has waited and waited and waited to be the first choice goalkeeper for Norway. He has been that for the last 5 years. They've missed out on qualification for major tournaments. He's not first choice at his club Sevilla. The Greek goalkeeper Vlachodimos is the first choice there, so isn't playing much first team football. But when the moment came, saving the penalty in the first half, and exactly, your heart sank a little bit in the way that you're obviously impartial in the game, but you thought if Norway concede like that, that actually feels really unfair. The ball was dropping in, and how he's pulled that save off, I have absolutely no idea.
Are you ready for the row? Can you see the drum yet?
Well, actually,
we're not going anywhere. We're taking it before we do anything else.
Well, the players are kind of in a circle themselves, but they're going to wait until the players go over, because I think the players will do the roll with them, so they'll set that up as well. The other thing, by the way, you'll have a goalkeeper on at some point, you know, talking about that save. And we're seeing how it's brilliant, and he gets back there and he trained to get up from being in position prone, etc. But there's something more technical about it as well. It's the angle in which he puts his arm to put it away an odd position. It's really weird the way he does it. So not only is it astounding that he gets there, but it's the angle that he gets there. Oh, they've got the drum out.
They've got the drum.
Have you seen the pictures of Haaland here?
Yeah, very emotional.
I mean, he sort of, for all his talent, for all his ability, for all his aura, he looks in a state of shock.
Yeah.
Doesn't he?
I also think, Mark, he's doing that thing where he doesn't want to forget the moment.
Yeah.
He wants to enjoy every second of it, and he's just standing there and looking and taking it all in. And I think putting that mental image in his brain, because moments like this, you know, particularly for the national team, come around very frequently. Norway's first World Cup quarter-final is on the way. He is so invested in this team and so invested in the setting up of this as well. So the longboat formation is up, looking a little untidier than it has before. I would say we've got...
Get you longboat expert all of a sudden.
I'll be down there. Oh, hang on, Haaland might get the drumsticks here. I think Haaland's getting the drumsticks.
Yes,
Martin Ødegaard has handed them over to the big man, the number 9. The world-class centre-forward whose goal-scoring record for club and country is absolutely sensational. I've no idea what his drumming is like, but I bet he's damn good at that too. And what a scene. What a scene we've got inside the New Jersey Stadium. This giant of a man with the Norwegian flag proudly across his chest in the form of the football shirt, the red shirt, the bright red and the blue cross, holding everyone to attention. Thousands of Norwegian fans away to his right, adoring their hero, and all the team, his teammates who worked so hard to get him into the right positions, are rowing behind him. First drum beat, first pull of the oars. The cameras just move in a little closer.
He's keeping them waiting for this one.
He's loving this bat. You can hear it, can't you? It's that guttural, deep roar of the Vikings as Haaland beats the drum again. Everyone pulls in unison again.
He's laughing his head off in the middle of it. I don't know if you can see that. And the rest of the team, they're gone as well.
I think we could be here a while, Mark, actually. I think Haaland's really enjoying this. Another double beat of the drum. They pull the oars again. The pace is going to start to build. I'll try and let the sound talk for itself here. Here they go. Haaland getting quicker and quicker and quicker, and the Norwegian fans ready to explode with joy once more. Final beat of the drum, and there they go. Haaland bouncing up and down on his feet, throws away the drumstick in celebration. And now, well, he's already let his hair down literally, but they can do it figuratively as well. They have knocked Brazil out of the World Cup. And they've been really impressive, Pat. Really impressive as a team today.
Every part of it. I mean, chappers, you heard me, and I'm sure the listeners heard me in the first half, moaning on about the away players. You know, it was so annoying that they were getting the ball in good positions and couldn't get across in. We just need to make a little technical change, and it made all the difference. One thing about this World Cup has become very obvious, chappers. Unless you have a world-class, not an international class, you need a world-class striker. Without that, you ain't winning this one. They've got one.
They certainly have. And Erling Haaland's dad at the moment currently has a glass of champagne and is dancing to Aha in the corporate. I wouldn't imagine it gets much better for him than this at the moment as he's singing along. Lars Siversen, Norwegian football journalist, with us as well. What an evening, what an emotional night for Norwegian football. Oh, we haven't got...
Can't blame him if he can't speak.
No, I know. Yeah. He has been rendered speechless.
He's here.
Are you there, Lars?
Yeah, sorry, you're cutting in and out a little bit. That was quite something, wasn't it?
I mean, there isn't much more to be said about Erling Haaland, but your goalkeeper was phenomenal in Nederland.
Yeah, I'm extremely happy for him. I mean, he had a sort of save of the season contender against Ivory Coast as well, and as you think you've touched on, he's someone who has been questioned and doubted a lot because his club career has been very up and down. He's currently the reserve goalkeeper at Sevilla, and he's been the reserve a lot in the last decade or so. And I definitely think going into the tournament, you would have looked at him as a, there was a version of this in which he's not even starting, because Bodø/Glimt's goalkeeper Nikita Haikin, who's Russian-Israeli, just got a Norwegian citizenship, and there was a considerable push to try to bring him in the squad. Ståle Solbakken decided in the end to stick with Nyland, who was an established part of the group, and it's a huge vindication for him, and it's an incredible moment for Nyland, who was unbelievably good today.
I mean, they seem to have a sort of mixture of disbelief and belief, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think the disbelief is real. Trying to gauge the mood of the players, I think they felt the pressure against Ivory Coast. We talked about it before kickoff. Like, that was the big one for us. We had to win the knockout game for the first time in our history. But then Brazil becomes almost a bit of a freebie, because if you go home being defeated by Brazil, people will understand that. They will accept that. It's not necessarily a huge failure. But we also have this, there will be this quiet belief of thinking, you know what, with Erling Haaland up front, you do have a chance against anyone, and you've got a decent chance against anyone. And there's a good team around him as well. So I think we had a wonderful sort of sense of there's sort of nothing to lose and everything to gain in this game. They had to be extremely patient. Brazil's approach surprised me a little bit. I think that the weaknesses of this team are perhaps more in the defensive area, so Brazil choosing to sit back was a surprise to me. But then it ended up with us controlling possession in a way that maybe the team isn't used to doing in this sort of occasion. But I thought they were very patient. Erling had to wait for his moment. And this is such a great example of, you notice, he was getting no service for so long. Yeah. And he never complained. Like, there were no angry looks, there was no shakes of the head to wingers when they weren't crossing the ball into him. He understands that playing for Norway is not the same as playing for Man City. He's not going to get as many opportunities, and he's shown incredible patience and discipline to make sure that he's there when the opportunities arise. And the second goal is ridiculous. And I would love to see him shoot from range more often. He hardly ever does it, but obviously he can strike a ball with the left foot, fair to say.
He certainly can. Lars, thank you very much. Go and enjoy your night. I'm sure you will. Lars Sivertsen with us, Norwegian football journalist. That is Pat Nevin, a dangerous combination, a world-class striker with a squad that are there to enjoy it now.
Yeah, and no fear. Fearless. Why should you fear? You've got further than you expected to go. And a lot of teams, and I see it, there was a bit of fear about the Brazilians today. I don't think they let themselves go completely. There wasn't absolute belief in what they were able to do. And a lot of teams, and even England, you've got to say now and again, over the years, there's been that white shirt weighs a lot, doesn't it? Those three lines feel a lot. Yeah. It doesn't feel that way for the Norwegians, does it? Because it doesn't matter. They've done enough now. Everything now is added and enjoyable. What a joy to go and do that for
there was a moment there as well, Mark, while you were chatting to Lars, where Ståle Solbakken was reluctantly pushed forward in front of those Norwegian fans. Ødegaard was not having him say no. He didn't want the team to take it all themselves. He pushed the manager forward, and then you had him sort of punch in the air, and on every punch there was the big roar from the Norwegian fans. And they're going to be here for a while. We've now got the image of the entire squad and the backroom team. They are lined up. It looks like one of those World Cup songs back in the day. They've all got their arms around each other's shoulders, standing in line in that penalty area. The goalkeepers as a union all together, that little block of green right in the middle. And they're singing with these Norwegian fans. And you can see the Brazilian fans slowly drifting out of all of the exits here. But these Norwegian fans in a real chunk away to our right-hand side, in that lower tier and the tier above, are going to remember this for forever and a day. Let's
just bring Tim Vickery in here. I wonder whether Brazil's issues are completely encapsulated by the Neymar penalty, where he seemed to make it more about himself than anything else, Tim.
This didn't deserve to work. I think, firstly, this is an unmitigated disaster. What do they do now? They've got Ancelotti on a 4-year contract. He arrives with a band-aid. I think they need something a little bit more. And how can Brazil not have a midfield? How can Brazil be outpassed more than 2-1 by Norway? Extraordinary. The absence of Lucas Paquetá, but how can your midfield not have any elaboration if you lose Paquetá? And the Neymar thing, it never deserved to work. Ancelotti, all of the red lines that he put in, he's going to have to deserve coming back. I'm not going to take injured players. He broke them all for Neymar, and I couldn't believe it when he came on, because he can hardly move, and it meant that he had to readjust his side. It meant he had to take Vinny further away from goal. He had to take Endrick further away from goal. It opened up the side all the more, and what happens? You can see 2 goals, and Neymar, frankly, Mark, I think he should have been sent off. I don't think he should have been on the field to take that penalty with that wild swipe. And I think so his era ends. All right, he gets his goal at the end, he gets his penalty, but it ends in a kind of semi-disgrace. And Brazil can go in another direction at last without him.
And there'll be fury there, will there, quickly, Tim?
Absolute fury. Ancelotti's being paid an awful lot of money. Shrewdly, he got himself on a four-year contract just before this World Cup. But this is almost unprecedented to go out to. When they lost to Croatia 4 years ago, they were a bit unlucky. When they lost to Belgium 8 years ago, they were a little bit unlucky. Tonight, the better team won.
They absolutely did. Tim, for the moment, thank you very much. Those Norway players are not leaving the field at MetLife at the moment, and the fans aren't leaving the stands either. Ali, Pat, for the moment, they play New York.
Of course they do. Of course they do. They'll say anything, those Norwegian fans just now.
I tell you what, the DJ's playing a blinder there at the moment.
I'm staying.
I know. You enjoy that for the time being. I'm going to go to the Azteca, where the atmosphere may be slightly different at the moment, depending on who is in there and what the weather is like. I'll bring Alan Shearer in a moment, but John Murray, your latest weather forecast, please.
Well, I'm going to say, when we've got a match like this, Mexico against England in the Aztec Stadium, nothing can put a dampener on it. However, the Azteca is very damp at the moment, and we've still got lightning and thunder in the area. Now, last we spoke, there was a stay-in-place order. We've not been inundated with information, I have to say, but it did appear that was lifted for a time, because people have been able to make their way into the stadium. But then there was a very clear stay-in-place order again, which came up on the screen. So many people are in the stands now, 80,000 capacity here, with its two massive tiers and the hospitality in the middle. But I would imagine that many people are still on the concourses as well within the stadium. So at the moment, probably, I don't know, only 2/5 of the seats will be currently occupied. And as for what will happen with the weather, again, we're in the dark here, and we've got just less than an hour and a quarter to go until kickoff. These storms have been raging for some time. We've had regular flashes of lightning, sometimes sheet lightning, sometimes fork lightning, but we haven't heard those big rattles of thunder for quite a while, since round about the time that I was last speaking to you, which was half-time, wasn't it, in the Norway-Brazil game? So that's where we are. And the other thing is, we've seen pictures, the teams are here, or at least England were on the way last we saw, and Mexico have arrived. So there's not been any instruction to them not to come.
An hour and 40 to kick off, yes?
That's right.
Yeah.
That is just less than an hour and 45, I think.
Oh, you said an hour and a quarter. That's what I was thinking.
I thought I said an hour and 3/4.
I was just thinking, dear, my timing's all wrong. I was listening to you.
You were listening, because I know it's late at night.
Is he always this pedantic? Is he?
Yes, he is.
I don't know about you, Alan.
You should know that.
Don't know. I deal in facts, Alan. Now listen, you grumpy, grizzled veteran. This is your first time in the Azteca, isn't it?
Oh, goodness me. I just had goosebumps when I was walking in. This is by far the best stadium that I've been in. It's been incredible. It's always been on my bucket list. I'd never been here before, and I always wanted to come here ever since that 86 game, and I just thought, wow. And I walked in here, and it just hasn't disappointed. It's absolutely spectacular. And the players walking in here today must think, this is what we've worked for. This is why I left home at whatever age. This is why I stayed behind on the training ground on my own for moments like this and games like this.
And do you know what? That was going to be my next question to you, with hearing that enthusiasm from you, which is genuinely, we talk, this will be difficult. You're playing the hosts in the Azteca, so on and so forth. Obviously, the home crowd. I'm not even talking about conditions and altitude and so on. But this is, if you are an England...
Brazil at MetLife Stadium, 2-1 it finishes, so Norway are through and Carlo Ancelotti's side are going home. Welcome along, everybody. Good to have you with us. I'm Poppy Miller alongside Nigel Reo-Coker, Mike Lahoud and Marco Messina. Mike, you predicted Norway, didn't you? Gave them the best chance of everybody on this panel. How surprised are you, though, with the way the second half played out?
Yeah, it just seemed like men against boys, especially once that first goal went in. This Brazilian side had their chances. They didn't take them. But this is what I talked about. Good goalkeeping definitely gets you. You have to be kicking yourself, though, if you're a Brazilian fan. You have to be kicking yourself if you're Bruno Guimaraes. You have to definitely be questioning yourself if you're Carlo Ancelotti, because at the end of the day, Brazil did not have enough cutting edge in the final third, and that's what cost them. And now the Inquisition starts.
Yep.
I said it at half-time. I said it's crazy to use these two words and associate with Brazil to say quality, that the quality just wasn't good enough from overall play, how they turned over possession at times. They didn't look like they pressed as a team. They pressed as individuals. It was far too easy at times that Norway cut through them. But the quality aspect of it, and that's one word you can never associate with Brazil, wasn't good enough today. And for me, you got to give credit to Norway. But Brazil have to do some real soul-searching now as a nation. It really has to look within itself now, and, you know, some of these players, that just for me wasn't good enough.
34% possession from Brazil in a World Cup match. I read that since stats have been recorded in 1966, that's never happened at a World Cup game for Brazil. And I think even Nigel, you and I at halftime, we said, or if Brazil's to get back into this game, it's individuals, it's moments, it's trying to get out on the counter and begging for Vini to pull up in an opportunity. They had the chance, even with Endrick, right when the perfect ball from Vini, they don't take advantage of it. And I think you're right that we need to give Norway so much credit for dominating in the way that they want to play, imposing their style. First time that they're at a World Cup since 1998, and to knock out Ivory Coast and now to knock out Brazil is absolutely unbelievable.
It's also, we talk about big games, big moments, right? Brazil, everything's been about Vinicius Jr. This is the game that your superstars, your main guy is supposed to stand out. Knowing what's at stake with the experience he's got playing at Real Madrid and obviously representing the national side, this is his moment to stand out. Did he do enough today for me? I don't think so, no. It's hard to say that. It's hard to even pick out one real standout player from this Brazil team in his performance today.
Yeah, a brace from Erling Haaland. We're going to give Norway all their flowers in a second, but for more of the fallout from Brazil, let's welcome in a Brazilian former international, Lucas Leiva, to join us. Lucas, what's your reaction, first of all, to the way Brazil fell in that match?
Well, very difficult day. I think very frustrated. I agree with all you guys said, you know, Norway dominated, you know, especially in possession. And I think, of course, the difference between both teams was the goalkeeper. Of course, Nyland had a fantastic game, and Haaland. I think Haaland only had 2 half chances, and he turned up putting 2 inside the net. So that's what makes difference. That's what Brazil normally used to have, you know, this type of players, but it's a very difficult day for Brazil. Of course, a lot of questions will be asked, and then we have to analyze now, because you know, it's not normal that Brazil gets out from a World Cup so early in this competition.
Lucas, I know it's still early and very fresh, obviously coming off this loss now for Brazil, but looking back at that game, can you pick out one Brazilian player that you'd say was actually a standout performer in a big game like this when it really mattered?
Today, you mean? Or
yes, today. Today's game.
No, I think that is, you cannot pick one. You cannot pick one. Of course, we spoke about maybe, you know, rely on Vinicius Jr., but credit to Norway that they kind of, you know, close all the gaps and didn't give much chance to Vinicius to create. Of course, you know, if the penalty goes in, you could say it could be a different game, but you know, now it's just if, and you know, it's a frustrating day. There is no one that you really can pick today as a standout player, apart from Haaland, of course, from Norway, and the goalkeeper. I think in Ireland was fantastic.
Lucas, how do you reflect on the way that Ancelotti managed this game?
I think, you know, we spoke before the game, you know, with Martinelli coming on, he kind of defended in a 4-4-2. You know, we thought it could work. I think it didn't work quite well because Brazil couldn't have the possession, couldn't create many chances. Then when Endrick came on, he had a clear chance to score, didn't. So I think the changes. It was what we expected. To be honest, I wouldn't say that he should maybe have done different. But I think was the difference between both teams was the chance that Norway took and Brazil didn't, and and also I'm looking here. They start 66% of possession for Norway and 34 for Brazil is not something that you normally see it. So of course it's frustrated for Brazil, but I would like to congratulate Norway as well because I think they were from the first minute they played like big national team. It seems that they had so many World Cups in their hands. So congratulations to Norway, and Brazil going out is a blow for the country as well.
Lucas, I want to get real because we're talking about the 5-time World Cup champions. You've represented them. We've celebrated them on the biggest international stage. And I looked this up. This is the first time since 1990 that La Seleção has lost in the round of 16. 1990. You said the lowest possession we've ever seen, right? For a Brazilian national team since they started keeping stats. I mean, when you take a step back and you start going through the emotions of it, or just start going through the football aspect of it, could this be the worst Brazilian side we've seen in a long time? Because the standards you're talking about, we really haven't seen it at the World Cup.
Yeah, of course, after a defeat like this, you can create a debate in terms of it's the worst. But for me, it doesn't really matter if it's the worst or the best. It's just the way Brazil left the World Cup. It's for us Brazilians to make a reflection and see what we need to do different, because it's clear that the last 30 years, now it will be 30 years, was 24, but the next World Cup will be 30 years that Brazil doesn't really get where we want. We need to reflect and see what we can do as a country to produce better teams. And but it's really hard for me to say now if it's the worst team in the history. I think it's not fair for the players as well. You have some fantastic players there, but of course today it didn't work for Brazil.
Lucas, when you think about the reaction in Brazil tomorrow morning, what do you think the focus will be on? Will you think it will be on the 34% possession? Do you think it will be more on the players, more on Ancelotti himself? What do you think the blowback will be?
I think it will be on the players for sure. At the end of the day, the players are on the pitch, and the fans expect a lot from them. And I think the players will be the most judged by the fans. But of course, Ancelotti, he's the manager. He just he signed a new contract for the next World Cup, the cycle of the next World Cup. So, like I said, it will be a lot of questions to be answered, but like I said before, it's time to reflect, because we cannot accept that Brazil goes home so early, and especially the way it was. So, but again, congratulations to Norway. I think they were very good, and they deserve it today.
Lucas, really interesting about Carlo Ancelotti as well, because obviously everybody was very excited when he went to Brazil, especially going and reuniting with the likes of Vinicius Jr. Even though this is a disappointment, he has the contract extension. Do you think the country and the team is still going to back him? Because the contract is one thing, right? But how it all plays out over the next 4 years is another thing. Do you think that he'll have the confidence and the backing to take them to the next World Cup?
I think so. Not now, of course. Will be a lot of debates, and people will question. But he showed so many times that he's a winner, and I think he is the guy that still, even after a heavy defeat like today, he is the right guy to lead Brazil for the next generation, for the next World Cup. But like I said, it doesn't matter if you have probably one of the best managers in the world. If you don't reflect, and if you are not humble enough to understand that maybe Brazil at the moment are not contenders in terms of what you expect as a team. So we just need to maybe make a step back, reflect, and come back stronger. I think that's what I used to do it when I was a player. You know, if things are not going well, are not working, you have to be humble enough to understand, reflect, and come back again and stronger.
Love it, Lucas. Thank you very much. Sorry that we're not speaking to you in better circumstances, but it's been so good to have you with us through Brazil's journey in this World Cup. I hope you get some sleep now. You're in Shanghai, right?
It's 6 a.m. though.
6 a.m.
Yes, I hope I can get some sleep. I'm very, very sad. But anyway, thank you very much, and have a wonderful World Cup for you as well.
Thank you, Lucas. Thank you. Oh, disappointing, isn't it, when you hear from the fans and especially former players?
Why is it disappointing?
Because the World Cup comes around every 4 years, doesn't it?
I know, it's a reality. Turn up.
England could be in that same boat tonight.
Turn up. Brazil did not turn up.
Good questions that he's posing, though. Really good questions that Lucas posed. You know what also I remembered? Because you just kept saying 5-time chance. Norway knocked out 2 teams that have 9 World Cups. They knocked out Italy from even qualifying, and they knocked out Brazil. So the courage that Norway showed, I know, again, the focus will be on Brazil, but the courage that Norway showed to not lose before you step on the pitch, not just look at the names and be scared. They want to take their match. I can't get over that it says 34% possession for a Brazilian national team.
The 34% possession is obviously Ancelotti and how he likes to coach, yes. But at the same time, Brazil not having or producing Brazilian-like players. They seem to have lost their flair, lost that special aura about them now. And to me, you look at this Brazilian national team, it's starting to look very European kind of like in how they approach stuff and how they go and play. And I think sometimes you have to stay true to your identity and your culture. Whether the game has moved on, yes, I understand to a certain degree. But Brazil need to find a way to nourish and nurture the next Neymar, the next Ronaldo, and all these type of players again, and stop kind of trying to lose your identity to be like everyone else. Because that's what happens sometimes with these international sides, that people try and get influenced by what they're doing. Oh, we're going to copy them this way. We're going to copy this nation because they're doing that way. You've got to stay true to what makes you you, what makes you unique group of people and human being, and stay true to your culture.
Maybe that's the downside as well of being such an amazing man manager, as he felt that connection to Neymar and is so bonded and connected to so many of these players that he's maybe calling up the ones that he has the best chemistry with and the best collective chemistry, rather than who is the best on paper. The momentum chart, Marco, you said it, historically bad for Brazil. We know the possession doesn't mean everything as well, by the way, but in this match, it really does tell a story with the attack.
Yeah, look, Brazil got found out in a significant way. You look at the big teams that they played in the first match against Morocco. Morocco were the better team. And if it wasn't for a Vinny Jr. moment where he really kind of capitalized on an opportunistic moment for him, they probably should have gotten beat by Morocco if they were more clinical on that. I worry about this Brazilian national team because they're losing their luster. They're losing their sense of invincibility that we used to associate with Brazil. And there's going to be some people saying, well, sometimes football moves on. But this team, when we looked at the squad, when we talked about Brazil coming in the World Cup, I did not get a sense of fear factor from them. I didn't get a sense of ambition from them. And much of the decision and much of the talk was, will Carlo Ancelotti bring Neymar to the World Cup? Now it begs the question, should Carlo Ancelotti brought the likes of João Pedro, because he's made some big decisions, Nige. And you mentioned this. Igor Thiago comes in. That's a big decision to make. Okay, he scored 20+ goals in the Premier League. Yeah. Igor Thiago's on the bench for the rest of the World Cup.
After he got
You're playing against a low block in the Norway side that was defending and against a goalkeeper that was playing out of his mind. Maybe that's something that comes back to bite you in the backside. But Brazil, it just seems like they need a massive reset.
And again, listen, Casemiro's been great. Fantastic player, what he's done, an amazing season out of Manchester United. But then again, you're questioning games like this, do you really need to start him? Do you not start Danilo with a bit more legs and enthusiasm in there? Again, we saw watching the game, we was saying, look, they're pressing in 1s and 2s, and Norway's are literally just walking through them, and they couldn't recover to get a recovery run in there. And as much as Norway had most of the possession, we were still saying that Brazil still looked more likely to score. And then when they got in those moments, quality, which is something that you never would associate that word with a Brazilian team.
It was
they were lacking quality. And it was, so
really,
it's a big loss.
Yeah, okay, so Brazil, their journey comes to an end in this World Cup. Stay with us, though. We've got much more for you in just a second. And now made the World Cup.
Plus.
So Norway, they've just beat Brazil in what has been their biggest win ever. They're now heading to their first ever quarterfinal in the World Cup. By the way, they haven't made the World Cup since 1998, and this is just their 4th appearance overall. And of course, it had to be Erling Haaland with a brace this afternoon to knock out Brazil in their journey. So the Vikings, they keep on going. They finished 2nd place in Group C. They're unbeaten now against Brazil in the last 5 meetings, and now they will advance when they'll face the winner of Mexico or England. We've got to give Erling Haaland a lot of credit in a second, but to even get to that point, Nige, how good was Nyland today in goal for Norway?
Phenomenal performance that's worthy of world-class accolades, because you've got to know what's at stake here. You talk about knockout rounds of the World Cup there. He was absolutely sensational. One thing alone in saving a penalty in a game so early on, to save the penalty and keep Norway still in it, but also as the game developed, the biggest saves he made. But the best one for me, not even to say the best one after saving a great penalty, was the one when he's going backwards and made the fingertip save as the ball was just about to loop in the goal. That was just a 10 out of 10 performance. You could not ask any more from your goalkeeper. If I was on that pitch there, I'll be buying him drinks all night. I'll be giving him a foot rub if he wants one, because he was that good.
Would you?
It's a joke. It's a joke. I'll take it that far. I'll buy him drinks, but he was sensational.
Here's a look at his day, by the way, with the stats from SofaScore, 7.9.
How's he get 7.9? Come on, SofaScore. I'm doing a Troy Deeney rant. I don't get it. I don't get it. It makes no sense, SofaScore.
This might be the one time I agree with you.
It's got to be a 10.
To me, he's the unsung hero of the team.
100%.
For me, he's the MVP, because it's the moment that he makes the saves that completely changes the dynamic of the entire match. The one that almost was an own goal, that was a freakishly own goal, is unbelievable, because he doesn't see it happening. He backpedals, he gets his fingertips to it, it hits off the post. The penalty save, if they score those goals, it completely changes the dynamic of the match.
100%. He literally carried Norway in his hands today. He carried the nation of Norway in his hands. That's how good he was. We know, obviously, Erling Haaland's going to get the credits for being a goal scorer, but without him today, we won't be even talking about Erling Haaland. He was absolutely sensational.
Guess who was there as well at MetLife? Our very own Nico Cantor. He's been all over. He's gone coast to coast, and here he is outside the ground. Nico, good to see you. I can't even imagine what the atmosphere was like in there and outside with all those Norwegian fans. What a contrast as well with the sad Brazilian fans now.
Yeah, unbelievable. I'm starting to see a couple of Norwegians. The thing is that the Norwegians were on the other side of the stadium, so they might be filing out through a different exit, Poppy. The stadium today was 90-10 Brazil to Norway fans. And let me tell you this, Poppy. There's something crazy about Brazil being eliminated again from the World Cup, because there's an entire generation of Brazilian kids, adults at this point, that have never seen Brazil win the World Cup or even be close to those glorious heights at which they once were. I was once a very young Argentina fan, and every time Argentina faced Brazil, I was so scared. They instilled fear in their opponents because they were that good. They had so much quality, and I would cry just every time Argentina would lose to Brazil. So many teams in South America would lose to Brazil. They were devastating. They were unavoidable. And now I think of young Brazilian fans in the shoes that I once was in. They've only heard stories from their brothers or sisters, their parents, about this great Brazil, this extraordinary football country that has produced the most winningest nation in football history. And a lot of these youngsters, I see them walk out of the stadium with tears in their eyes, like I once had as a young Argentina fan, because they have never witnessed the greatness of Brazil. And today was just another example. It's been 24 years since Brazil last won the World Cup. They're going to have to wait at least 28.
Nico, so well said. Brazil haven't looked like Brazil since 2002, if we're being honest, when they last won the World Cup. But now looking at Norway, we were just talking about their goalkeeper, Oya Nyland, who was just playing the game of his life.
Grab the Norwegian fans.
Nico, and talking to Norway fans or Norwegian fans, hopefully we can get them on air.
Norwegian?
No,
yeah. What's your name?
Can you
ask him? Andres, are you from Norway?
Yes, we are.
What part of Norway?
Oslo.
From Oslo. I was in Oslo just a couple months ago. Beautiful city. Yes, nice. Thank you. Listen, what did you think? What did you think of this? This was incredible for Norway.
It was nerve-wracking. It was absolutely nerve-wracking, but it was a fantastic result, and we're looking forward to going to Miami.
Talk to me about Haaland.
Holland, fantastic player. We knew that. But also today, I think you need to talk about Nyland, the goalkeeper. What a fantastic effort by Nyland.
So Nyland, Patrick Berg, Sander Berge, Odegaard, I think today was a complete performance. Is that what you felt?
It's a complete performance by a fantastic team. And they got this far. And Norway is now the only team that's undefeated by Brazil.
Unbelievable. You guys beat Italy with 4 stars in World Cup qualification. You beat Brazil with 5 stars. That's a combined 9 World Cups. Norway makes it back to the World Cup. I don't mean to date you. I know for them, it's their first ever World Cup that they see Norway. But how old were you the last time that Norway was at the World Cup?
I was 22 and I was in Marseille at the game.
Wow.
Now I got to take my daughters and my family here. It's fantastic.
Were you guys married in 1998?
No, we're not.
Well, I mean, think about life and sports and full circle moments, you know? So much time has passed, and now with your 2 beautiful daughters, you're able to witness history at the World Cup with Norway.
Now we just need to figure out, how do you get to Miami from here?
Hey, I'm from Miami. I know a couple of ways how to get there.
You give me some tips on where we're going then.
All right. Talk some more.
Thank you.
Nico,
All right, guys.
you should get them to do the row. Get a group to do the row.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm going to try. I'm going to see if there's more Norwegians around me. But, I mean, it's the happiness, you know?
I love that.
Norwegians are very happy. It's the juxtaposition, right, of sport. Brazil devastatingly out, and Norway with all their hopes high, with Erling Haaland running the point through to the next round.
Nico, just quick one for me. I know that you have really gained some respect for the country of Norway, and you got to go to Bodø, if I'm saying it correctly, Bodø, and you really came back inspired by what you saw from the people there, but also what you saw and what they're building. Did you witness some of that fighting spirit today against Brazil?
Yeah, for sure. You know, there's not only belief, but there's confidence in this project put forward by the Norwegian Federation. Imagine there's this whole team grew up playing on hybrid pitches, right, on synthetic grass, because for a long time Norway didn't have synthetic grass. I was talking to journalists when I went, and for seasons at a time, because it was so cold, they couldn't play. And now that it was on synthetic grass, they developed this generation. I don't know if that's a direct correlation, but there's something brewing here. I'm going to have to stop my answer. I want to talk to a Brazilian fan. Oi, falou, tudo bem? What's your name? Elio, where are you from?
From Brazil.
From what part of Brazil?
Paraná.
You came from Paraná all the way for this match?
I live here, but I'm from Paraná. Yeah.
All right, Elio, what are you feeling right now with Brazil eliminated?
It's disappointing. Disappointing. It's my 3rd time seeing Brazil get eliminated in the World Cup. And it's just, and I feel like we could have done more this time.
Yeah, what went wrong, do you think?
The finishing. We're not clinical. We're just, you know, they slowed the game down. We let them do it. We played like it's a practice. And they were looking for 1 ball. They got 2.
How do you think Brazil played overall? Like, rate from a 0 to a 10. How was Brazil's performance today?
Today, I feel like we played like it was practice. I will give it like a 4. It was terrible. No intensity.
Elio, the star player, Vinicius Junior, penalty kick to go ahead. He gives it to Bruno Guimaraes. What do you think?
He's got to take that responsibility. You know, he's the man of the team. At that point, get Neymar in and have him take it. And take Bruno Guimaraes.
What do you think it says about Vini that he didn't want to take that penalty kick? Or he let somebody else take it when he's the face of this generation?
He's not ready to take the responsibility. He's got to do it.
When's he going to be ready, though?
Never. I don't think he'll ever be ready to take on that role of the leader.
Elio, are you Ancelotti in or Ancelotti out?
At this point, out. Yeah, he couldn't do it. He had the time to do it, couldn't do it. So.
Were you ever convinced by Ancelotti in Brazil, even in the World Cup qualifiers?
Not really. I don't like his style of play.
Why?
We need somebody that likes to play with the ball. Like today, we played reactive. That's not Brazil. We let Norway take hold. Like we let Odegaard and Berg take hold of the game. That's not our game. We got to take the ball, have possession, and play.
What's next for Brazil? No midfield, geezer.
What's next? I don't know. Go get Guardiola. Go get Pep. Go get Pep.
Bro. So, listen, man, Elio, thank you very much. You're Atlético Paranaense, yeah? Or no? Corinthians. Why? From Paraná, but supporting Corinthians?
North of Paraná.
The north of Paraná. Okay, listen, my favorite player growing up was Carlos Tevez, so I followed him a lot of time in Corinthians. Elio, muito obrigado. Sorry for the loss, but thank you for your words.
Obrigado. Valeu.
Elio, thank you. So, yeah, I mean, you're right, Nigel. So many things went wrong, and Brazilian fans, they know football well. They're not blinded to what they see on the football pitch, it needs to improve.
Very good stuff, Nico. Thank you so much. Enjoy being in the New York area before your next travels. We'll see you soon.
Oh, wait, that's it? I'm in the New York area and I don't get an invite to Nigel's house? I was expecting something from Nigel, Puppy, you know, like, oh, hey, Nico, since you're here, come over. No, it's okay. All right, bye.
Yours for the barbecue.
Nico.
Tell us about this barbecue cooking.
I don't live nowhere near MetLife, mate. When you get back from your amazing road trip, we'll hang out, geezer. I've got the whiskey ready for you.
Nigel.
I've got my jollof ready for you, too.
Hey, you know what? I know that Nigel's jollof rice might be some of the best, if not the best jollof rice I've tried, so I will hold you to that, my friend.
No problem. He's a good guy. I love Nico, man. I miss him, to be fair.
Nico, start a row. I want to see the video on social media. That's my challenge to you. Come on.
He's gone.
Let the row go.
With all the Norwegians, you got to do it.
It looks the same every time, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but okay, you're there. You got to be part of it.
One too many rows.
All
But
right.
it is good, isn't it?
Salty.
No more rows from the Norwegians, unless it's in Times Square. What about Erling Haaland then today? Because obviously we're given lots of credit, but really it's the main man up top, isn't it, that should get all the credit?
It's unbelievable that this is his first ever World Cup. This is his day, a 9.1 for the finishes that he has. But it's Haaland's first ever World Cup. He's scored in 14 consecutive competitive international matches for Norway. 27 goals, by the way, within those 14 games, tied with Messi and Mbappe for most goals in the tournament. It's absolutely unbelievable that this is his moment to show to the entire world that he is that guy that could step up in the big moments. There are plenty of players who could score goals in the Champions League, score goals for their club team, but then sometimes when they go onto the international stage and they have so much pressure, they don't live up to it. Erling Haaland is the complete opposite. Doesn't have a lot of chances, doesn't have a lot of touches on the ball, but they're some of the most important ones. By the way, winning goal against Côte d'Ivoire and now a brace against Brazil. That's unbelievable.
He doesn't get involved in a lot of play, but when you need him to score goals, which is what he's there for, he does it. He took his first goal brilliantly, and it's what we said about half-time, about Norway need to play more to his strengths, which is getting crosses in the box, because he is one of the best and most dominant strikers in the air that I have seen. You know, so gets his first goal, second goal, takes a touch, shoots between defenders' legs, just shows how he can be clinical, and everything about him, how he carries himself, and you see the pictures off the TV, he's being authentic to who he is, which is why people like him and gravitated to him so much. But he is a freak of nature. And like Marco says, he's plays for the national team and he just still takes on and keeps the same level of performances and quality as we see him when he plays for Manchester City.
And he could very well be in the shout for the Golden Boot, couldn't he, depending on how far Norway can go in this tournament?
Yeah, I just love how easy he makes goal scoring look. And much of the conversation coming in was it was the clash of the Titans, Erling Haaland versus Gabriel. And there's only one winner in that, because Gabriel, he put him in his pocket. And there's a quote in the post-match presser, and their head coach, Ståle Stolboken, deserves full credit for just the masterclass he put on today, because he put on 2 subs that changed the game. Oscar Bob came in, changed the game. 2 young Norwegians, and Andreas Schjelderup changed the game and had both assists to him. And he said, when a reporter asked him, what's Haaland's biggest strength? Is it physicality? Is it just pure goals? He says he spends 90 minutes, or maybe 89, watching what the defender is going to do. And all he needs is 1 minute to realize when and how to create that space to get the edge. And that's how he wins you games. We saw it against Gabriel. We saw it on the second goal. He's finding different ways to make himself the most important player on the pitch, whether for club or for country. And I'm telling you right now, Norway are the real deal at this World Cup.
They really could be a big dark horse, couldn't they? So the Vikings row on Norway. They are through to the next round. Stay with us. We're going to be back in just a moment.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Rock?
Questionable scores. Martinelli as well. I just don't think they were really good up top. So, listen.
Alisson,
questionable.
6.8, that's a bit harsh.
Alisson wasn't bad. He made a big save at the start of the first half. He was okay. Ryan, for me, there's a surprising one to get 7. Didn't really influence the game, impact the game. Vinicius Jr. is another one. So a lot of questionable scores. Martinelli as well. I just don't think they were really good up top. So questionable sofa scores again.
Shows that they had a bad night as well with Haaland, Marquinhos and Gabriel.
Yeah, look, I said it before when we were talking about Erling Haaland. This is becoming a habit now for Gabriel because for as much, bluster and bravado, and he's still one of the best defenders in the game, Erling Haaland has owned him as of late. He keeps scoring goals. He's done it in the Prem, and disappointing to see Haaland get the better of him again. I want to point out something that the player next to Casemiro, Bruno Guimaraes, how would you say he performed today, Nige? Because at the end of the day, we said it, the game changed once they missed that penalty kick. I would have given it lower for missing a penalty kick of that magnitude.
Yeah, I definitely would have given him lower than that. And again, the midfield was just open. They didn't do anything. They were completely dominated by Norway. So for me, that midfield there just doesn't make sense. I think Danilo should have started, in my opinion, the midfielder. He should have been in there with more energy, more legs to get around. But these are decisions that Carlo Ancelotti made, and he has to stick with them now.
What about Norway then, Marco? Can only imagine what Haaland, 9.1? Is that okay?
Yeah, the goals, they really up it. We talked about him not touching that many balls, but they're absolutely decisive. I think we tried to say before the match that Norway are more than just him, and I think the other performances around him were big. But Nyland at a 7.9. For me, if you watch the game, you know that he was much more influential than a 7.9. I agree.
He was a 10.
Yeah, I don't know
There's
what more.
no arguing
I don't know
about
what
that.
more. He concedes a penalty at the end, but it's not his fault.
He saves a
what more
penalty
can you do?
and everything else. This is why we say about watching the game with your eyes. Watch the game of football and learn the beauty, the art we call football.
Nigel's right.
Forget the
Nigel's
stats.
right.
That is a 10. If you're as a manager or coach, or if any of us are his teammates, we're going there, give him a big old hug and a kiss, saying thank you very much, because that is a 10 out of 10 performance. And even the Norwegian fans said it. They said, right, yes, I know about Erling Haaland, and the Norwegian fan said it's about the goalkeeper.
Also, it's the moment that he made the saves. It's not just the saves.
You know what we should do? Welcome in Buckets to join us, because let's give him a perfect hat trick today. Well done, Buckets.
This guy, all three. Never a doubt, right? We were sweating these. They flew him in for a reason. Holy cow. No, yeah, so we hit all three bets, which is awesome and is kind of my job, so I'm glad that I did what I'm supposed to. But this match was a perfect reminder that the game is never over and your bets are never over until that final whistle. We were sitting in halftime talking about, let's just take a nap at this point, right? Like, what are we doing watching? The 70th minute, nothing's happened. After the 80th minute, we don't get one, not two. We get all three goals to perfectly hit all three of these. It was beautiful.
Wow.
And the best bit, Buckets, is that other people obviously take your advice all the time, and we know one of them hit big on these three today, right?
Yeah, I'm not a big parlay guy myself. I'm a little bit of a weenie, for lack of a better word, that I probably shouldn't say on air, but I had somebody, can we say weenie? Okay, I'm a weenie, but we had a guy parlay all three of these together, $1,000 won $9 grand.
Wow.
So if you want to, buy me a beer tonight, I'm not going to say no to it. I'm just throwing it out there.
Why didn't you put the money on it? Why didn't you put $1,000
Why did I put $1,000 on it? Because if I missed, I'm staying with you for the rest of the week. That's why.
You can stay with Nigel. He's got a big house.
I heard he's got a good house. Me and Nico will come over.
You could have a fit.
But an awesome game.
Well done.
Right?
Well done, Buckets.
Brilliant, Buckets.
You were terrified, by the way. You were scared at the end.
Horrible. Yeah. No, I was already changing my flight around to go home. I was gonna. If this was 3 X's, I was gone. You never would have seen me again.
Did you like the penalty that they got? Did you like it?
It's just, I heard breaknecks. Poppy.
Nigel wasn't happy.
Celebrations for Norway. You wanted the row from Nico. And
Did he do
friends
it?
at MetLife.
Oh, you see? This is what I'm talking about.
What is Nico doing?
It's off sync.
Is that Munya?
Yeah, it is.
CBS spam is there.
Well done, Nico. Challenge complete.
Look at him. Look at him.
Papa, you didn't want him to do this.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man.
rules are you've gone through.
Between Mexico and England, this is a place awaiting in the final 8. Norway has advanced, and we're going to see who will join them tonight. So we're going to give the pros and cons to why we think each team can win. Let's start with the home side, Mexico. The reasons that Mexico can win: stadium, altitude and fans, the defense, and then, of course, their star player. Marco, what's the biggest factor for you?
I guess you spoke about the altitude, and that's all I've heard from players who have played there and the effect that it'll have on them. I want to touch on Quiñones because I think he has an unbelievable story. 4-goal involvement so far in the World Cup. Born in Colombia, but he was naturalized in 2023. He had to make a decision. Do I play for Colombia or do I play for Mexico? And he said, my wife is Mexican, my kids are Mexican. Mexico adopted me because he was there since he was 18 years old, and he feels this feeling of giving back to them. He adds so much in attack. Scored 33 goals in the Saudi League this year in 31 games, but he adds such a dimension to this Mexico team. And I think if we're looking at anyone from Mexico to score the goals, it's got to be on him. What about the altitude, Nige? You mentioned how difficult it is going to be for these English players to adapt. They've had no sleep. There's fireworks been set off outside the stadium. There's 80,000 Mexican fans with the flags placed in the stadium already. It's going to be a bit grueling, no?
It's going to be a bit grueling for them, but these England players have played everywhere, major tournaments, played a lot of places. This is going to be the first time that they play in an environment like this. That's the biggest difference that they'll see. So for me, I think that they have to play smart and be smart about it in football intelligence in when they approach this game.
Troy Deeney's just arrived in the studio. He thinks England's going to win 3-0, so that tells you where one England fan's at. What about the back line, though, Mike, tonight?
Yeah, look, Vasco Aguirre has made this L3 back line or this L3 team a bunch of warriors. You go back to maybe 2 years ago where Mexico was one of the laughing stocks in CONCACAF. It was this U.S. men's national team were the big dogs. Everyone was thinking, Mexico's kind of lost some of their luster. Well, not on Vasco's watch. Their defense first, and then Quiñones scoring goal second.
Okay, what about England and the 3 Lions? If you could only put 3 reasons Harry Kane should be all 3 of them with how we've played so far. He's at the top, the individual talent second, and maybe this is going to be a bit more of an open match, Nige, right, where they can hit on the counter.
Yes, hopefully Mexico will come at England, which will create more space for England to use their wide players and be able to get in behind. They've been facing a lot of stubborn teams who want to be defensively organised, low block, and make it hard for them. And we've been struggling to create and have any kind of creativity. So if Mexico come at England, hopefully it makes an open game, which would suit England better, to be able to go and pick their moments where they can go and use the talent that we have.
You need to start strong as well from the get-go. I think the first 20, 30 minutes are going to be decisive, and you guys haven't done that. You haven't put in a 90-minute performance. By the way, Mexico has never lost a World Cup game at the Azteca.
I'll just
8
say
wins,
this.
2 draws. Just throwing that out there for you guys.
This doesn't have to be...
How are you feeling?
Hold on, wait.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling fine. This doesn't have to be a... I'm not looking for a 90-minute performance. Okay. I'm looking just for a win. That's what it matters. Get the job done because of the factors.
Poppy, you feel the opposite.
I'm looking for a Harry Kane. Whatever's the way. Harold Kane to our rescue. Hit that Harry Kane button 10 times. Okay, we're going to see. Stay with us, though, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion!
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Belgium, a whopping decision, an unexpected decision for everyone. I mean, the team even had a meeting earlier in the day at the hotel and nothing was said to the players at that point in time. They actually first heard the news about it on social media like the rest of us. And so, you know, it just kind of evolved from there where we've seen all of the reaction from the players saying they're excited, they're happy for Flo Balogun, that they feel he deserves it, that, you know, Christian Pulisic said feels like the right decision, to the kind of anger, frankly, of the Belgian Federation, who are saying this is not right, this is not okay, this is unprecedented. And as Coach Rudy Garcia said at the press conference, the Belgian Federation isn't just fighting for its team, it's fighting for football and for the integrity of the sport.
The press conferences have been really interesting. We saw Rudy Garcia as well say, is this April Fool's or are we playing in July? What's been the biggest takeaway from the US's press conference with Mauricio Pochettino?
Yeah, Mauricio came out with a strong defense of his team, of Flo Balogun, of the decision. He said it was the right decision because the red card was the wrong one, essentially, that it was a just decision because a red card should never have been handed out. And he pointed out that it's not unprecedented for FIFA to suspend portions of a punishment, right? We saw it with Cristiano Ronaldo going into this tournament where 2 of his 3-game suspensions were pushed till after the World Cup or suspended until after the World Cup. He pointed it out. And he said, we might not be the victims of this story, but we're not the villains either. He understands what Belgium feels, but he believes, again, he said multiple times over the course of this, that 99.9% of the footballing world believe that the wrong decision was made. That might be an overestimation, I think, of who's on his side here regarding Flo Balogun. And that if people really believe that and they believe the decision was taken wrongly, then they should understand that this is the right path for FIFA.
Paul, putting bias aside, what do you make of the decision?
Well, I think we slip into dangerous territory here with FIFA, don't we? If we are allowing outside forces to relitigate things that are happening on the field, you know, how often is this now going to happen? You know, is France going to ask, and I've seen reports that potentially they are, to overturn Olise's yellow card, right? Like, how many different ways are we going to go about this? Are we going to be asking or inviting political leaders to enter the fray? As we know, Donald Trump, he went on social media to say he felt like this was the right decision. The New York Times reported that he even called over to Gianni Infantino as a part of these efforts of the U.S. men's national team. And so I do think that this is a slippery slope. I also just think anything that starts to call into question the integrity of the competition is a negative for everyone involved. And I even think when you go even more micro than that, for the U.S. men's national team, they've been maybe one of the best stories of this tournament, one of the most likable teams, which was not always the case for them. And now they're the most controversial team in the tournament. And maybe they've given their opponent, which has seemed a little bit fractured at times, something to rally around, something to unite that locker room.
So true. It's going to be so interesting, isn't it? But it's back to the original plan for Pochettino. Now Flo Balogun is available. Paul, thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Okay, so the US men's national team, what a big game they've got coming up against Belgium, and they've got their perfect main man available up top. And guess what, everybody? We are going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, ahead of the match with